for XP League, and I'm looking forward to having an impact on these kids' lives. I've been playing video games competitively since 9th grade. I'm now 21 years old, and I've never really got to be a part of a team.
Today you guys are here for tryouts. Now you might be feeling nervous, but don't worry. Everybody makes a team. Tryouts is not about picking you out if you're not good at the game. The only thing this is about measuring where you are.
I'm the coach for XP League, and I'm looking forward to having an impact on these kids' lives. I've been playing video games competitively since 9th grade. I'm now 21 years old, and I've never really got to be a part of a team.
Today you guys are here for tryouts. Now you might be feeling nervous, but don't worry. Everybody makes a team. Tryouts is not about picking you out if you're not good at the game. The only thing this is about measuring where you are at right now, so we can focus on how we can help you improve throughout the season.
Esports promotes cognition in the sense that there's multiple ways to win a game. There's not one set way that you can win a match. The meta in Overwatch varies. It depends on the game. The games change all the time, and every game is different. It has its own special, unique characteristics.
Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Keep your hands straight. Keep your hands straight.
For our practices, we aren't focused necessarily on who we're playing against, just how we can adapt our strategy towards the game. What we teach the kids when we're coaching is that there's another human being on the other side of that computer, and to treat everyone with respect.
I have my ultimate.
Perfect. Keep going. Keep going.
Both teams putting so much into the fight. We are so close.
Game like the pros and experience the largest North American youth esports competition.
And they take it. They're so close. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Hanover Horde have taken the victory in the Grand Finals.
This year, XP League brings the North American Finals to the Full Sail University Orlando Health Fortress and Full Sail Live venue. The best youth gamers from across the US and Canada will battle head-to-head for the championship title this June. Do you have what it takes to be crowned the champion? The largest youth esports competition in North America is this June in Orlando. Your journey begins at xpleague.gg.
Both teams putting so much into the fight. We are so close. Stuck in overtime.
Game like the pros and experience the largest North American youth esports competition.
And they take it. They're so close. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Hanover Horde have taken the victory in the Grand Finals.
Do you have what it takes to be crowned the champion? The largest youth esports competition in North America is this June in Orlando. Your journey begins at xpleague.gg. Do you have what it takes to be crowned the champion? The largest youth esports competition in North America is this June in Orlando. Your journey begins at xpleague.gg.
Yeah, I'm not gonna rip it.
It doesn't matter at all.
Esports is a multi-billion.
All right, hello everybody. Welcome First match of the day being streamed here with my friend and co-caster Bryonix. We're going to be casting the Macomb Knights in the blue and the Madison Marvels on the red here. These are two teams that are going to be playing it out here in losers finals of Group B, I believe.
That should be an interesting one today. So, I've never really seen this map before. What do you think is going to be the strong point of the battle here?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is Nepal. This is the Inner Sanctum. In lore, this is kind of Zenyatta. He's like a monk robot. And in lore, this is his temple, basically. The biggest thing about this map is this giant bottomless pit in the middle of the objective. Lots of opportunities for environmental kills are going to be happening here. You can see it in the comps. The Roadhogs, the Lucios, they're going to be trying to knock these players off and into the pit. And so here we go. First engagement as the Madison Marvels push up onto this high ground overlooking the point. This is a very important part of the map to control, because if you control that, you can essentially control the objective, because you have sightline and cover on the objective here. So first kills coming out here for the Macomb Knights as they get first blood, but it's quickly undone by the res.
Right now, it seems like the landing pad is going to be the main focal point of the battle as they're trying to push them out. Right now, looks like the Madison Marvels have things handled in the center of the ring.
Yeah, you know, the Macomb Knights don't have an answer to this Farah Mercy. You can see right there a valiant effort from the Roadhog on the Madison Marvels, but they don't, not on Madison Marvels, but from the Macomb Knights. You know, the Macomb Knights really don't have an answer to the Farah Mercy. They don't have a hit scan character. They've got the Genji Hanzo, which is not really typically suited toolkit. Doesn't really have a toolkit suited for dealing with these kind of like mobile, high up in the air character that is Farah Mercy.
Yeah, they're trying to battle hard here, but being pushed further back into their spawn. And right now, the Macomb Knights are going to need an answer here in a hurry.
Well, it might be a difference of, you know, whose strengths are stronger here, as the Sigma goes in, nano boosted and ults, taking out one, but it looks like the trade is going to come out. A little bit of skirmish happening on here. It's hard to tell who's going to come out on top here, as the Macomb Knights are starting to clean up some kills.
Everything clear, and now the Macomb Knights are the only dominating factor here in the objective.
Absolutely, and if we take a look at the resources on hand for both teams, we have 3 ultimates for the Madison Marvels going into 2 ultimates for the Macomb Knights. So the Madison Marvels will have the ultimate advantage going into this next fight here. Let's see how this Reinhardt chooses to engage now that he has his ultimate. A great combo, shatter into the Farah ult, countered by the Zenyatta healing ultimate though, able to undo a lot of that damage as the Macomb Knights repel the attack from the Madison Marvels.
Keeping that objective uncontested, now up to 35%, almost catching up here. And the Macomb Knights, after a shaky start, seem to be finding their footing.
Yeah, and fantastic ultimate from Rexy on the Zenyatta here. That Transcendence was perfectly timed to out-heal all of the damage from that Farah and Earth Shatter, keeping their team in the fight. That's definitely what gave them the advantage to allow them to win the fight. Let's see what they're going to do now as they kind of go into this next push. Ooh, and a big kill for the Macomb Knights onto the Reaper from the Madison Marvels is going to delay that push at the very least. They're going to want that ultimate for that fight.
And the way that the battle's going, you're going to have to really conserve what strengths you have. Is right now, with 74% to 64 and counting.
Very sneaky here, goes for the kill. 1, 2, picks up 2 kills. Is that enough to open it up for the Madison Marvels as they try to push through this choke point? Still in it though, they've got their ultimates. Roadhog investing his ultimate into this. Looks like they're going to fully engage and commit to this fight. They like where it's at, and they're going in.
Looks like they're going to be trying to cap here. And again, with 67%, it's anybody's game at this point.
Absolutely. Looking at the resources and the ultimate economy here, 4 ultimates for the Macomb Knights. Dumping in that dragon, gonna give their team the space to move in and start to claim some space and go in there. Lots of ultimates coming out, putting it all on the line. They want this retake.
And they're really pushing here. Only ultimates on the other side just been used, so everybody kind of had a clean slate. Rexy's the only one who kind of had an ultimate, but I think he kind of used it already.
Yeah, absolutely. It seems like they didn't get quite as much value out of those 4 ultimates that they needed, but you know, they said to themselves, you know what, this is probably the last fight we're gonna get. We're gonna use it all, but they just didn't get the value that they needed there. And the Madison Marvels are looking really nice going into this last section here as they try to finish out and complete the objective on Nepal.
They just need to hold off a little bit longer, and I think this will do it. Not a bad start here for the Madison Marvels. Kind of looked shaky in the center of it, but in the beginning, they were absolutely dominant. Macomb Knights kind of woke up a little bit, made it a fight, almost got the cap, but at the end, it was the Madison Marvels coming back for the recap.
So now that we know that the Madison Marvels are running a Fair Mercy composition, I'm curious to see what kind of adaptations the Macomb Knights are going to do here. Are they going to? What kind of swaps are they going to make? We can see that they're making the swap already off of the Genji onto the Cassidy. Going to go for that hit scan damage, keeping the Hanzo though. Interesting there. We'll see how that works out for them. The Hanzo was doing some good work for them, so I can see why they want to stick with it.
And it should be interesting to see who gets the first leg of the battle. That was a very close one last time. And right now, you see a lot of skirmishes going on. Good aim there by Pekra.
Really critical opening kill into that fight there. McCree landing that headshot onto the Pharah, immediately just deletes her out of the sky, giving a huge opportunity. I mean, that's the main source of damage for the Madison Marvels. So if you take that out, you know, the Madison Marvels aren't going to have much teeth to them.
Definitely. And when it comes to the battle right now, it seems as though everybody kind of even out.
Absolutely. And interesting swap here off of the Pharah. Looks like they recognize, hey, I'm going to have a bit of a tougher time on this map on Pharah. Let me swap to the Genji instead. So here the Madison Marvels, you know, they try the top lane. Top lane's not going to work out for them, so they're going to re-rotate down to the main lane here and try and push this main entrance. Anna with her ultimate ready to go. She has the nano boost. Who will she give it to? Goes down to some poke fire, unfortunately. But looks like they know they need that ultimate, so they're going to res her, bring her back into the fight.
I'm seeing things a little bit more delayed, but right now, the Macomb Knights seem to be dominating right now.
Yeah, Macomb Knights made some great progress there, 54%. That's, you know, halfway to completion. You know, that's definitely something good there. Now, looks like, what are they going to do for the retake? They have 3 ultimates coming on, maybe 4 if that Sigma can get it quickly enough. He's going to get it sometime mid-fight. What are they going to open up with? How are they going to utilize the High Noon, the Dragon, the Coalescence? I mean, those are some ultimates that are going to give them a lot of space, but not necessarily do a lot of damage. And we can see here those ultimates coming in handy for them, just not giving the Madison Marvels any really space to go. You know, they pushed them back with those ultimates, and you know, they put them in a spot where they couldn't really defend.
And the Madison Marvels trying to put everything back in, and standing at almost 60% here, Macomb Knights really making a bid to tie this up.
And 2 kills from the Dragons coming out there from Hanzo are going to delay the push of the Madison Marvels here for at least another 5 to 10%. Already 80% on the board. I mean, this is do or die for them. They have to win this next fight. They have the tools to do it, though.
They definitely do. You see 3 ultimates on either side. This it's going to be key to see how they use it here, the later stage they have.
Roadhog pushing into the point with their ultimate, giving their team some space. 2 kills already going down. Mercy and Genji going down. Looks like they weren't able to contest in time. It's not enough. And the Macomb Knights are evening it up in this best of 3 on this first control map here. So far, pretty close game, pretty exciting action going on here. Let's see what kind of adaptations we're going to see here. I really love what we're seeing. We're seeing a lot of like on-the-fly adaptations, adapted to each other's strategies. This is exactly what we want to see from some high-level play.
Definitely. And right now, when it comes to the Madison Marvels and Macomb Knights, it's not like these guys are, you know, mismatched for one another. They're going beat for beat. They're really trying to take it to the house here. And when it comes to, you know, using the ultimate, I think both these guys use it almost sparingly, but they use it in the most pivotal moments of the match. It's going to be interesting to see how they kind of distribute their wealth here in this third and final match.
Absolutely, and Madison Marvel is able to take control of the objective first here. Hasn't unlocked, but you know, they've got the space, they've got the positioning they need, so they're looking good at going into this first engagement. 2 kills already, going up, so they're up 6 versus 4 right now. Looks like the Macomb Knights are going to make the call to disengage, come back, regroup, and then push it again.
Right now, I think they're doing exactly that, just coming back, and it's important to kind of keep yourself cool, calm, and collected.
I like the rotation of the Macomb Knights here onto this side entrance. They're not going to go the main way. They know that's not a good way for them to go. They're going to adapt their plan, and they're going to go this main side here as they try again to take over the objective.
And Madison Marvel's trying to do everything they can to keep that from happening.
And once again, the Madison Marvels there pretty handily took that fight as the Macomb Knights regroup here again for another push. Ultimate's starting to come online for them. They've got the Lucio beat, which is a great counter to any damage ultimates that may come out from the Madison Marvels. Let's see what's going to happen here. Ooh, something sneaky might be going on here with the Pharah ultimate. And there it is, 3, 4, maybe even 5 kills for the Pharah there. Nice team kill, very beautifully executed. Just fantastic work.
Double duty there when it comes to that kill, that it not only does it get, you know, a lot of people off the board, but it scatters the team a little bit and keeps yourself in position in order to take a clean cap.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of pressure on this McCree's shoulders. The only hit scan on their team, they're the ones that are going to be tasked with having to deal with this Pharah. Let's see how they can handle this Pharah's kind of air supremacy. Taking out the Mercy, which is kind of the enabler of the Pharah Mercy, takes out the Pharah shortly after. Great work here as the Macomb Knights finally start to take over the objective here and get their first team win on this third section of Nepal.
And right now, it's going to take a lot for the Macomb Knights to hold this for an entire match almost.
Yeah, they're going to have to play pretty much perfectly and hold on to those ultimates and be very, very savvy.
It's just going to be interesting how they get it done. Because right now, they just seem to be locking down the OBJ.
All right, the Macomb Knights catch out the Madison Marvels, coming up to this top side, take out the Anna. Very nicely done as the Mercy, understanding that the fight is lost, pulls out, wants to get the regroup as fast as possible. As soon as that ultimate came out and those first 2-3 kills happened, they know their work here is done. They got to get out.
Yeah, because you can't tax bodies. You have to keep everybody healthy. You have to keep everybody in that location. Because if even one person goes down, you're playing down. You're playing to the strengths of the Madison Marvel.
Now I'm expecting a big shatter from this Reinhardt here. Not really any shields. Catches the Reinhardt, catches the Sigma. 1 kill goes down. Main tank for the Macomb Knights should give a lot of space and opportunities for the Madison Marvels to do damage going into this. Let's see how they can take advantage of the space that's been created here.
Still a lot of work to be done, but right now the Macomb Knights seem to be sitting pretty.
A little skirmish on the point. Looks like they're going to try and fight this out here. Ooh, a Fair ultimate gets invested. That's actually pretty good for the Macomb, for the Marvels here, as they manage to flip the point and complete it right here. Fantastic push on that last fight from the Madison Marvels. Great use of ultimates from the Reinhardt, from the nano boost to keep the Reinhardt alive and in the fight. Just really, really great play there, playing around their Pharah and really making the most of that air supremacy.
Yeah, and like I said in the beginning, it's not like these guys are mismanaged or mismatched, I should say. They actually gave it their all here, and it was close both times. Either side could have come out with the win here, and the Madison Marvels really showed their kind of prowess here in this final match in order to keep calm, even though the Macomb Knights had the objective, and it looked like they were comfortable there for a second or two. But they kept it, they battled back, and they were able to get the win.
Absolutely. Really great showing from both teams there. Excited to see what more is going to happen there for the Madison Marvels going to the second game and the Macomb Knights. Really, really great play from both teams. It seems like, they're not necessarily trying to counter each other. It seems like they're going to try to go ahead and focus on playing to their strengths, and instead of trying to kind of play around the Fair Mercy, it looks like what they're going for is they're going to say, you know what, we're confident in our Hanzo, we're confident in our Roadhog, we're confident in the composition and the strategies that we've been playing all season, all year. We're going to stick to it and run it like this.
Yeah, and it seems right now that the Macomb Knights, even though they lost that first match, the confidence is definitely there. And with the Madison Marvels, they have the series lead, and they can go off of that kind of momentum. But you know that in this next match that they're not going to be taking the Macomb Knights lightly. They're going to be taking it right to them and seeing if they can have any sort of impact on this next payload map and try to get things done a little early and get the Macomb Knights out of the game.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to be interested to see how the Madison Marvels are going to play around the fact that these next couple of escort maps, the Junkertown, Havana, Gibraltar, particularly Junkertown, is really not going to lend itself very well to a Pharah Mercy composition. These maps are so open. There's not a lot of cover. It's going to be kind of difficult, especially if they go for Junkertown, for that Pharah Mercy to play around that big open space. Havana might be a bit of a better option. Gibraltar would be pretty good for a Pharah Mercy composition. They have a lot of high rises, a lot of tall buildings that are going to be able to help them stay safe and avoid damage. So I'll be interested to see what pick the Macomb Knights end up going for.
Yeah, and right now I think the biggest thing for the Madison Marvels is getting that kind of first step into the match. Because in the first couple of games, it was pretty much the Macomb Knights that took charge and took advantage of the early aspects of the game. And with the Madison Marvels, they played the waiting game almost, got back into the game, into the match, and kind of bully their way into a victory. So it's going to be interesting to see if they keep that kind of survivalist mentality, or if they're going to be going in straight for the kill right off the word go.
And, we've been highlighting the DPS players a lot here with the Pharah Mercy, with the Hanzo, with the McCree. But I think what I also want to highlight here is the support players that are enabling those DPS kind of carry moments. So when that Mercy goes down, when that Lucio pops ult so that their whole team can push into the objective, when that Zenyatta popped ult so that they could stop the Earthshatter and the Pharah ult from wiping out their team, we're seeing lots of really big game-changing plays from the supports on both teams. So, it may actually come down to a difference of whose supports are more on point today.
Yeah, it's definitely a team battle, and that's why when you're watching this, everybody has their role to play, be it the tank, be it the support. And I think right now the Madison Marvels have it on point to the fact that when they're storming the objective. Like you said, the support players are the ones that guide people in, and it's going to be important to see how they would gel together as a team coming into this payload, because it's not exactly like the first one. You're going to need more of that support in order to kind of secure that payload.
Yeah, absolutely. Control maps lend themselves to a lot of kind of deathmatchy type gameplay, kind of more duelist kind of things. You can be a little more, you can take more 1v1s. With these escort maps, it's going to be a lot more focus on team fights and team brawls. So let's see how they adapt to it as they go into this next map. Looks like we're going to be on Havana. I am stoked for some more gameplay. All right, let's get into it.
The main thing that I'm looking at here is that walkway, is that main alley coming down the main part. When I saw the Havana last time, I forgot which teams, but I know that the defending team kind of made a stanchion on that main balcony back and kind of turned it into a pseudo firing range and was able to hold these guys back. So it's going to be interesting to see how these guys set up for the kind of first match here.
Yeah, and it looks like the Madison Marvels are sticking to their guns here. They're just going to be swapping out that Pharah for a Widowmaker, which I have to agree with. Range damage, super powerful, especially on this first section of the map. Both of the teams going for the Widows, so we're going to have a bit of a Widow duel in this first section of the map here, and a Echo, which is going to be an interesting pick here going into Havana. All right, let's see how this works out for them. They're going to try and hold them in their spawn doors.
And you're going to have to watch out on the flank here, because you have that left side to worry about as they're coming out and trying to get a couple of eliminations here to kind of generate some breathing room.
And a great opening kill from the Widowmaker takes out the opposing Widowmaker. Now sightlines are completely unopposed as they can essentially free fire down this long alleyway.
The important part here for the Macomb Knights is to keep these guys out of their sight lines. Otherwise, it's going to turn into a pseudo firing range.
All right, here we go. Second fight coming in here as they come around the corner here. Tanks pushing up, starting to poke a little bit more. How are they going to choose to engage on this? And a beautiful hook from Madison Marvels takes out the Macomb Knights' own Roadhog and gives them a quick two-man lead going into this fight.
And right now you see a lot of close corner combat, and if I'm the Macomb Knights, I'm trying to kind of re-establish my dominance in terms of like the elevation and different angles to try to keep these guys at bay. Right now, not doing a good job at that, but credit to the Madison Marvels. They're really fighting hard to get this back into winning stanchion.
Absolutely. I mean, what we're seeing here is that last fight, I mean, that was pretty tough for the Macomb Knights. They didn't really have a lot of tools to try and take that objective back. But now that they have ultimates, we can see that, you know, they're doing a lot better going into this next fight.
As you see right now, the Macomb Knights almost falling.
Wow.
Excuse me, the Madison Marvels, yeah, almost falling back here.
Love the aggressive play here. This is a really great spot that you can pretty much kind of hold them right here. So I love kind of this aggressive play, but they can't overplay it too much, otherwise they might find themselves being punished for the overextension. Just like that, Roadhog gets the hook onto the Genji and is going to push in with their ultimate.
All right, now the important thing is to try to secure that payload. And I think the Macomb Knights, they know that they're trying to build their defense around it. And the Madison Marvels, they just go right to it and start attacking.
Oh, and a huge shatter coming out from the Macomb Knights. Reinhardt, unfortunately, no damage to follow up on it, is going to force them to retreat and regroup as the Madison Marvels capitalize on this opportunity and push the advantage more and more.
Pushing the Macomb Knights back in their own spawn. And the Madison Marvels from their own place, really pushing them back. And it looks like a really hairy battle here.
Absolutely, and really lots of really great work coming out of this Reaper, just absolutely melting the tanks on the side of the Macomb Knights.
I like Ghost's approach to this, kind of taking he took the focus off of the payload and onto himself as he tried to flank there, and he got a good 2 or 3 people to kind of try to fire at him while the rest of his teammates moving the payload up.
Massive play I want to highlight from that fight right there. The Madison Marvel's plurp on the Reinhardt landed a massive earth shatter, stunning most of the Macomb Knights. Instantly, McCree, Cassidy, Waspies on the Cassidy from Madison Marvels, instantly pops his high noon and is able to take out a majority of the Macomb Knights with that play.
Coming into the crescendo of the battle here, it's going to be an interesting battle as the Macomb Knights already setting up their defense to take the high rise. Here comes the ultimate here from Pekka.
Looking to build that ultimate, try and get some earth shatters out here. Gets stunned. A really great play from the Cassidy there to cancel out the ultimate from the Echo.
They try to build around the payload, and for the Macomb Knights, pushing as hard as they can. And I know I make this kind of analogy a lot, but this is where you have to make the goal line stand. You cannot let them anywhere close to that payload.
Yeah, and it looks like the Macomb Knights are stabilizing here as they get 3 kills and take control of the objective. This last section of the map is going to be decently difficult for the Madison Marvels to push into. We're going to see some swaps off of I forget what hero they were playing last time, but they're swapping to a Genji now. Looks like they're going to hope to build some kind of Genji Nano Blade, a big team fight winning ultimate combo, and maybe use that to secure the objective all the way in this last section.
Right now they're just trying to bob and weave. As you see another flank there trying to pick off as many people as he can. And they just try to... The tanks right now are trying to bum rush the payload.
Oh wow, and a big investment there of the Earth Shatter into this fight. They believe they can take this and push it all the way. Sigma gets staggered here as they're pushing into the final meters of the map.
Right now they are on the cusp of victory, and we'll see if they can push it in. But right now the Macomb Knights throwing everything they have at the Madison Marvels, but I don't think it's going to be enough, and they are not going to cap. That's a good defensive stand.
I mean, the Macomb Knights are throwing everything they've got at this fight, and it looks like it's still being pushed ever so close, just a few more inches, and it will be capped in as they take out the last few defenders for the Macomb Knights here.
Right there, and they're able to get it. What an impressive display on both sides, and able to push this one past to the Madison Marvels, and they get the first win of this payload map.
Yep, a full completion with 1 minute and 12 seconds on the board. You know, they're going to be happy with that. The Macomb Knights, you know, it's going to be interesting to see what kind of adaptations we're going to see here. They really started to get a hold of themselves here on this last section of the third map. So we'll see what kind of information they take, how they react to the game plan of the Madison Marvels, and what kind of decisions they're going to make going into this second half of the map.
Ready for battle.
And coming into the second half, I think the most important part is to keep that alley on lock if you're the defenders.
Absolutely. Taking a look at the compositions here, it looks like they're switching to a double hit scan with the Cassidy and the Soldier 76. So it's going to be interesting to see how they're going to play these angles, play these kind of long sight lines that they're going to be having here. Maybe they'll swap to a Widowmaker here just for the first section. Let's take a look as the Madison Marvels are completely set up on this high ground here. Given the Widow, ample room to fire down as they set up here.
Attackers incoming. Stop the payload.
Double sniper composition for the Madison Marvels with the Hanzo and the Widowmaker. So they're going double snipers. They're going to try and just do lots and lots of damage downrange here on the second point. Great headshot onto the Zenyatta as they push in here. And it looks like Luna's on a mission. They know exactly what they will have to do. They're going upstairs. They're going to try and kick the Widowmaker off. And a sacrificial hook right there. You know, they're able to get the Mercy. You know, maybe that's going to be enough for their team to be able to capitalize on. And it looks like it's working out as the Macomb Knights push the payload into this first capture point here.
Coming into this first kind of capture point, it's going to be kind of a shift here from offense and defense. This is where I think it's going to really favor the Madison Marvels, and they're just going to have to get set up as fast as they can.
Absolutely. Looking at kind of the positioning on the Marvels here, it looks like they're opting to take the low ground. They're not going to try and hang out on these walkways on the top here. Maybe they have some kind of plans of what they're going to do here. Oh, a bit of a sneaky play. Let's take a look at what they're going to try and do here. They're hanging out up here. Going to use this little tight room. It gives them lots of cover, but it's also boxing them in, so they can't let the payload push too far. They're going to have to drop down now.
That they do. See what this kind of entails here.
Macomb Knights, they play that perfectly. They don't overcommit to a fight in that little box. They want it. They know that they're better off staying out here and just pushing the payload and forcing the Madison Marvels out of that position.
Trying to battle as hard as they can into the second half of the stage. And right now, with about 4 minutes, 17 left, Home Knights sitting pretty as they head to the second checkpoint.
Zenyatta getting a lot of value out of this ultimate, able to spare their team from the Roadhog ult and the Sigma ult, but unfortunately the damage was just came and it did not stop, and it just wasn't enough, even with Zenyatta's ultimate, to stop it.
I also like the Macomb Knights, or excuse me, the Madison Marvel strategy here. They just fell back and went right to the cap spot, trying to hold as hard as they can this third and final checkpoint.
So look like McCree's going to go for a high noon at the top ridge here. Looking for an opportunity. Maybe their team can force them to come out of cover. Maybe they can use the high noon to give their team a lot of space to push in. Let's see how they're going to approach this.
See a couple of ultimates being used. 3 for the Madison Marvels.
Yep, and the Macomb Knights have a lot of momentum here as they're pushing in. You know, 4.5 minutes on their time bank. That's a lot of time for the Macomb Knights to strategize, build up their ultimates, and push in here. Madison Marvels are going to have to make a really great final stand here on this last section.
Yeah, and peeking up at the resources, you have 2 ultimates at the ready for the Madison Marvels and 2 more on the way. And on the other side, only 2 right now look to be anywhere close. Well, Luna's actually getting up there, so that's 3. It's going to be interesting to see how they utilize this in the latter half of the stage.
Sneaky play here, gonna pop the ultimate. Yep, right supports are completely unprotected. Takes out both supports for the Madison Marvels. Great play from the Soldier 76, gonna completely open this up for Macomb. But wow, a heroic play from the Hanzo stabilizes the Madison Marvels. Is going to give them a chance to regroup and kind of slow down this push and get them back in here.
Now, right now, the biggest thing for the Macomb Knights is to try to keep this at a distance and not really throw away bodies. They need to get back up there in a hurry.
I mean, that was just great plays from both sides. I mean, a fantastic flank, taking out both supports from the on the Macomb Knights, and the Madison Marvels reacting in kind, taking out half of their team extremely quickly. When something like that happens, you have to make a play. Otherwise, your team is not going to survive in the long term.
that's for definite. And coming into this latter half of the stage, Macomb Knights, they're gonna have to really push here. They want to try to match that 112 time.
And then Hanover coming onto the Zenyatta here. You know, some people, you might not think Zenyatta can do a lot of damage when he's nano boosted, but with the Orb of Discord and the nano boost, Zenyatta can actually do quite a bit of damage even when nano boosted, and we see that as they pick up 2-3 kills here on this last section of the map. And a fantastic stall coming out on the Madison Marvels. The Wrecking Ball, the Lucio, they're trying their absolute best to waste as much of the time that they have saved up.
Right now with 5 people on, it's gonna be a tie round. And looks like we're gonna be needing a tiebreaker here.
Yep, absolutely. As we go into overtime, 2 minutes on the clock for the Macomb Knights, and 1 minute and 12 seconds for the Madison Marvels. We've got ourselves a match here. They're going to be playing it out. You know, in my own solo queue, I've gotten to 2 sets of overtime on this very map. You know, you can end up with situations where both teams have amazing offense, but maybe not the best defense, and so you just have these ridiculously long matches where they go on 7-6, 8-7. So, you know, who knows? We may see even multiple overtimes here.
And it's all going to be up to how they play to each other's strengths.
Attackers.
And as we can see here, it looks like they're opting, Madison Marvels are going to opt for the Fair Mercy with the Widowmaker. Interesting composition here. It looks like they're pretty confident in this composition going into this. You know, they're very comfortable with this. This is what they've run for most of the event, most of regionals. So it seems like, you know, chips are down. High stakes match right here. They want this win.
5, 4, 3, 2.
And if you want to get to a game 3 for the Macomb Knights, you're really gonna have to put everything you have into this match right here.
And we can see here the Widow Duel is already in effect.
60 seconds.
Taking pot shots, super tense here as they battle for the long range here. A great job, wins the Widow Duel and is able to kind of give, and now with that Widow Duel 1, the Fair Mercy has all the space in the world to rain damage from above.
And here the Macomb Knights, I think the best thing to do is just try to run out the clock.
Great play from Turka.
Stage here. That was a great play.
But Madison Marvels, they're staying hardy, they're staying strong, they're staying on the point and brawling it out here as the Macomb Knights come in and focus down some of those supports as the tanks are trying their absolute best to stay on the point, not let that overtime timer go down to 0 as they're just trying all they can. But now the ultimates are coming out, maybe one of them will close it out.
Maybe. And right now still contested. So, man, this is actually gonna be crazy to see who's up on top here.
Wow, it's still going. Madison Marvels are still in this, popping even the Zenyatta ultimate to stop them from getting that first checkpoint. Lots of ultimates coming out now. Everything is on the line here for the Macomb Knights. This is it for them. They have to stop the Madison Marvels here.
They did a wonderful job on that defensive stand. And it's going to be up to them now here in this third and final point. And if you're the Macomb Knights, 2 minutes and 17 on the clock to try to get past that first checkpoint. That's all that matters here is that first checkpoint. How do you think they're faring here? What do you think they're going to try to run?
I think they're doing great. I think they're probably going to go for some kind of double hit scan again. I think that was working out pretty well for them. I think they're going to stick with the composition. I think they're going to stick with the Cassidy Soldier 76 as they go into here. I think they might opt for a Widow because this first section here, the Widowmaker is just so strong. It's almost a mandatory pick that you need some kind of long range to contest their own Widow, or you need to basically change your entire composition
Attackers
to play around the Widow.
in 30 seconds.
So we'll see if they bring out the Widowmaker. It seems like the Madison Marvels are going to opt to not go for the Widowmaker. They don't think it's going to work out in these 2 minutes that they have here. Instead, opting for a Sombra, a very interesting play here. Sombra disables the abilities of another of an enemy hero, and so we'll see which hero they're going to target with that disable.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming.
There we go. It is do or die here for the Macomb Knights.
Macomb Knights being a little careful here. They don't know that there's not a Widowmaker yet, so they're being a little careful. They're pretty sure there's not a Widow now, so now they feel a little more comfortable being out in the open as they push out onto the street. Great hook onto the Madison Marvels Roadhog, able to still come out alive though. But then, man, that was a close one. You don't want to go down one player this early in the fight.
And that's for definite, especially when you're trying to get this past this crucial checkpoint here, and it's going to turn into a bloodbath.
The Marvels lose their main tank, and so now they're going to be playing a little bit on the back foot here, and they're going to have to play for some kind of retake, some kind of regroup here, but the Macomb Knights are not going to let it happen. They see the opportunity, and they jump on it. They know that this is their chance. They have to push the advantage.
Now, a good play by Wayne to try to keep this one out, or excuse me, Waspies, as he keeps this one kind of delayed, but I don't think it's going to be enough, and it won't be. What a good play by the Macomb Knights, evening up this series, and now we're heading to a Game 3.
I couldn't be more excited for a Game 3. The first Game 3 we've had, at least that we've seen on stream in the entire event. And a great play coming out here from the Sigma for the Macomb Knights. Double kill with the Recreation there, and followed by even more. Great play from the Sigma for the Macomb Knights. Let's take a look here at our map pool. Madison Marvels taking the first map 2-1 on Nepal. Macomb Knights taking it 4-3 on Havana. As we go into the next set of maps on Hybrid. I mean, these are some absolutely awesome matches. I love the plays that we're seeing from both of them. I think what I really want to see here is on this hybrid map, what are the kind of small micro moments that are gonna decide how these matches play out. I think what we've seen a lot is when you have really close matches, it is a game of who makes the fewest mistakes. And I think kind of some of the biggest mistakes we're seeing on both sides are overinvestment of ultimates. You know, it's something that in the short term, you know, if you overinvest your ultimates into a fight, you win that fight, but you lose out on the momentum in the long term where, okay, now you don't have ultimates for that next fight, or even even 2 fights from now, you don't have ultimates, or you're out of sync with your combos. So those little things where can they budget out those ultimates longer and make it last longer for the duration of the match and keep that tempo. Yeah, and it looks like, you know, the teams are taking a little bit of time here. Maybe the coaches are coming in and, you know, giving them some pep talks. Hey, you know, if you're the coach in the room, I think, you know, I'm not going to focus on strategy. I'm not going to focus on, you know, little things like this. I think I'm just, you know, I just want my team to stay upbeat. I want them to stay positive. I want them to stay in the moment and focus on just playing at their absolute best, regardless of you know, any mistakes that they might have made in those matches. You know, that's something that we preach a lot here at XP League. We focus a lot on, you know, playing past your mistakes, focusing on staying positive so that you can be at your absolute best and play your best, and then focus on, you know, all the little kind of improvements that are to be made in the future.
Yeah, and speaking from experience in terms of, I used to play for a couple of teams in situations like this. The main thing is, you're right, they're not focused on strategy. They're not focused on, getting the edge here on the opponent, because you've already seen what each other is capable of doing. Like, they know, the Macomb Knights, for example, know that the Madison Marvels, they know exactly what they want to do. And then on the other side, the Madison Marvels know what the Macomb Knights want to do. So strategy, you throw that out the window. It's all about getting each other back up. For the Macomb Knights, it's easy. You guys forced to game 3. It's, let's just keep this going. Let's keep this momentum. But for the Madison Marvels, I can tell you right now, the coach is probably saying, guys, we've done it in game 1. It has been... it has been easy for us to let it go, but we need to get back on the 8 ball. We need to get back up on this kind of soapbox here, and we need to drive this thing home.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Madison Marvels were so close to closing out this series. I mean, just a few more, just maybe 2-3 more meters push on that payload, and they would already have won this series. They'd be thinking about their next matchup. And so that kind of resiliency, how can they handle the pressure of having to close it out in that final hour? As someone who's been an athlete yourself, what are some things that you would try to do to try and keep your head in the game?
Personally, I try to keep the positives in the back of my head. I try to shell out the negatives. And it's just one of those things where when you're playing and you're in a place where you could have already won, it's such a deflating, mindset. So when I'm in the locker room, when I'm in my stall, and I'm thinking, man, I let that go, I could have been the difference maker. That's when the coach needs to come to the player and say, listen, it's a team sport. We all do this, or we all go home. It's not going to be down to just you. It's not going to be down to just an individual. If you want this, you need to go get it, and you need your team to back you. And right now for the Macomb Knights, excuse me, I meant to say the Madison Marvels. For the Madison Marvels, their biggest thing right now, being so close, that's something that the coach needs to kind of key in on. You were very close. Just push it in this next game. Nothing else matters before this. Coming into this third game, this is the only thing that matters. Play your heart out, battle for every inch, and just see where it goes from there.
Well said. Well said. So I've got the chat open here. Any viewers in the live stream watching this awesome gameplay? I know these are some pretty hype matches. I'd like to see in the chat, who do you guys rooting for? Are you guys rooting for the Madison Marvels? Are you guys rooting for Macomb Knights? How have your matches been? If you've been participating in regionals, did you guys have a good time? Are you guys satisfied with your performance? Are you guys looking forward to North American finals? I'd love to get some stream interaction here with the chat.
Yeah, definitely. We all appreciate you guys watching here on this lovely Sunday.
In fact, I actually recognize some names there. I recognize some players from the Triangle Wolves in chat. I recognize a player from the Hanover Horde in chat. Really cool to see our players, cheering on the other players here as the bracket continues. Even if your team has been eliminated, we'd love to see that you guys are still supporting the other teams and players as they continue on their journey through this bracket.
Briary says, let's go Marvels.
Let's go Marvels indeed. And one of our very own HQ staff is in chat. Let's go. Such a close game. I don't know who to cheer for. Me neither. I'm torn here between the Knights and the Marvels. The Macomb Knights, I got to say, they're a team that's been around not quite as long as these Madison Marvels. The Madison Marvels has been around pretty much since the beginning of XP League. Macomb Knights came in a little later and actually started off as a silver division team and worked their way up to gold division and has really shown just how much they can grow, just how much they can really play with the best of the best here. Macomb Knights being an incredible team. We're actually at North American Finals last year.
I love what R.W. Bookbird said here. These teams are so evenly matched. It's almost like you don't want any of these guys to lose. It's such a shame that one of these guys have to go home. Because this has been an exciting match, and it's like from game 1 to this very last one, it was a couple of inches on the payload map, and it was just under 10% in the first match that we saw. No one dictated the flow of the game. No one dictated or dominated from beginning to end. It has been so close, so it's going to be exciting to see this game 3.
Absolutely, and it looks like in the chat, kind of peeking in the match chat here, it looks like teams are almost ready, and they've got their map picked. So I'm going to go ahead and... looks like they're requesting to reach out to the admins here, so we'll wait a little bit longer, burn a little time here, and just kind of interact with the chat, hang out a little bit with us while they get going and get ready for this next match. So Bionic, this is your first time spectating Overwatch, casting Overwatch. What do you think of it so far? I mean, you had your experience yesterday kind of getting thrown in the deep end, getting to watch some Overwatch. I'd love to kind of hear your perspective of Overwatch as someone who's pretty much only seen it played now from like a team perspective.
It's awesome. It is just quite simply awesome. It's everybody needs to be involved. With games like Call of Duty, with games such as Apex, you can have that one guy where it's like, all right, get on my back, I'll carry you. With this one, there's nothing. Everybody needs to be in sync with each other. It's a true team sport, and I think that's my favorite part about this, is that everybody needs to travel as a unit.
Wow, so insightful. I mean, that's something that that takes most players a really long time to realize, and you just realize it right away. I think that's awesome. I can hear in my headphones the match is starting. It sounds like we're gonna be on Hollywood. Awesome.
My hometown, let's go.
Let's get hype. Hollywood, I'm here on the West Coast, close enough to this match that I can just probably peek over it if I took a quick flight.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll recognize some spots. Looks like they're calling for a quick pause here, so I'm not going to quite switch the scene quite yet, but let's talk a little bit about the map Hollywood. It's the first time that we're seeing this map on stream. Hollywood is a interesting map that lends itself to different playstyles on different sections of the map. On the first section of the map, it's going to be this choke point, kind of who can brute force their way through this really narrow choke point, and then the second map opens up and it's all about controlling the high ground and controlling the roofs of the kind of the western set that we're going to see there.
That if they have here for Hollywood, you can already kind of see that there's going to be a lot of sight lines here for maybe some ranged attacks.
Oh, absolutely. Controlling these rooftops right here is the most important thing about this section, second section. But before that can even happen, they're gonna have to clear this first section here. Really, really strong defender position here, but also a really close spawn point for the attackers. So they're gonna have a lot of opportunities to crack open the defense of the Madison, of the Macomb Knights on this first fight.
Right now, everybody's just getting ready.
Perka being a little cheeky, looks like they want to say hi to their opponents before the match starts. Maybe getting some intel on the composition so they can feed it back to their team. A little bit of risky play here. They might get a little pot shot on their way out.
5, 4, 3, 2.
It looks like that's exact. Oh no, never mind. He turned tail. I thought that was exactly. Nope, that's exactly what it was gonna do. One pot shot, he's done.
So they're gonna run the Pharaoh Mercy. I totally agree with this. Stick to what you're comfortable with. You've run this. This is in your muscle memory at this point to run a composition, run a team like this, and get in your comfort zone and execute on what you know. Let's see how they're gonna take this out.
A lot of distance shots being taken so far by the Madison Marvels as the Macomb Knights looking to settle in their own OBJ.
Yeah, and they're just kind of like poking a little bit at each other, getting some information, building up their ultimate, percentage, waiting for an opening to come up so that they can start to push in. And it looks like the Madison Marbles think they find that opening as they push past the choke point into this alleyway here. Roadhog unfortunately caught out right here, not going to get a chance to escape. And the very first push of the Madison Marbles has been rebuked by the Macomb Knights here. But now ultimates are on deck, and it is a different game now. Let's see how they're going to use these Nano Boost and Junkrat Tire going to this fight. If I'm the Ana here, I'm looking to either Nano Boost my Reinhardt. Yep, there it is. Nano Boosted Reinhardt, an absolute raid boss menace going into this. You can't stop him. You got to kind of avoid him as he makes so much space and just instantly breaks open that point for the Madison Marbles.
That was a great play there by the Reinhardt coming down the line. And now trying to capture this first objective.
A couple of an ultimate coming out on the side of the Macomb Knights, try to push them off the point, make some space for their team to come back in and reclaim, but too little too late, and the Madison Marbles have made their stand and are now pushing the payload into the second phase of Hollywood here. Who's going to take control of the high ground first? Let's see, we've already got a battle between the Soldier and the Fair Mercy for control of this high ground.
And it looks like the Macomb Knights did a good job at taking this high ground, not wasting any time, and now they have a clear advantage.
We're really going to want to look out for this Sigma ultimate that unfortunately is not going to be coming to them because he went down early. Let's take a look at the Junkrat Tire. Who are they going to find? They find the McCree. And, you know, with that, you know, too many kills have been sustained by the Macomb Knights, and that's going to open them up to push it most of the way to the second objective here, which ends right here at these kind of big warehouse doors.
And if you look at the resources, a lot of ultimates lining up here. It's going to be interesting to see who pulls out what first.
You know, we've got a kind of a sneaky Soldier 76 trying to find an opening, find an opportunity to get lots of kills with that flanking ultimate, but without a push from the Macomb Knights to contest, the Madison Marbles are going to be able to push this in without being contested.
Get a lot of time for themselves to try to push this past the warehouse and into the final objective, or checkpoint, I should say.
All right, keep your eyes peeled on this Pharah, folks. She's looking, sharking for it. Nano Boost has come out. They're committing it. Hook onto that, and a fantastic Zenyatta ultimate is going to sustain the entire team through that ultimate and essentially neutralize it for the Madison Marbles.
And it's going to be a battleground here to see who gets possession of this payload.
All right, with that great transcendence, you know, one ultimate in exchange for two ultimates on the enemy team, I think that's a great trade, and it's now going to even out the economy. In fact, actually push the Macomb Knights ahead in that ultimate economy as they have 4 ultimates going to this next fight. Unfortunately, Roadhog overextending just a little bit is going to get taken out. That could provide the Madison Marbles with an opportunity to push into this next fight at an advantage.
Kind of pushing the payload back a little bit. And now the Macomb Knights being pushed back themselves as the Madison Marbles coming in, 4 people on the payload. And now they run into the proverbial brick wall.
Macomb Knights, so smart though, they don't commit to that fight. They know, hey, we're down our Roadhog, they're going to come in with their ultimates. Let's play this a little slow, and actually let's pull back, wait for the ultimates to end, and then re-engage with our own ultimates. Exactly what they do. And look at that, they've already taken possession of the objective back and are pushing them back, pushing the Madison Marbles back towards their spawn, so they have to regroup.
We have a couple of ultimates on deck here for the Macomb Knights. And on the other side, the Madison Marbles have a lot cooking up here so far.
Yeah, let's take a look here as this nano-boosted Reinhardt raid boss tries to cleave through. Lots of damage on the Soldier 76 for Macomb Knights. Perka trying to find something, can't get it with that visor. Junkrat Tire coming through, gets destroyed and caught out by the Zarya. Sigma ultimate comes out, not a lot of kills, a lot of amazing plays from the supports here, I gotta say, as they're keeping their teams alive through so many ultimates. Almost no kills happening, almost like 40 seconds into this fight.
Now another goal line stand here, as with 2 minutes and 1 second left to go, these guys are really gonna have to try to push up.
Absolutely, and let's take a look here. Mercy, kind of the big enabler of the Madison Marvels, I gotta say. Really doing lots and lots of help for the Pharah here, but the Pharah's not gonna have the nano boost going into this fight, so how are they gonna work this through? Health getting low, Mercy pops the Valkyrie, is gonna probably look for the res on the Pharah if she can get it.
Taking the high ground here, the Macomb Knights, and taking them out. Good shot by Cora to take that one out of the range of the Macomb Knights.
Perka, such a strong position there on that high ground, able to just rain so much damage from above, giving Steve such strong positioning. Tank ultimates coming out for both sides, lots and lots of eliminations. Macomb Knights are going down to the Pharah here. As now they're pushing it in here. What can the Macomb Knights do to stall it out in the last 50 seconds? Can they stop this payload?
Right now with the contested, it looks like they're going to try their best. They have 45 seconds to play with. Macomb Knights, if they can get everybody clear to this payload, they have a pretty good chance at stalling out just on the goal line.
An incredibly valiant effort from the Soldier 76 there, taking out many members of the Madison Marvels. But it looks like the Madison Marvels are holding strong. I mean, the Anna here, I really got to point out this support play here. Anna keeping her tanks and her team, her key members of her team alive throughout that entire fight, throughout all those ultimates. Because of Anna having that long range healing, she's able to stay really safe, stay out of the damage zones of those ultimates, and keep her team alive and just pump so much healing into that Reinhardt that, you know, they were, even through all those ultimates, they were still stabilized and were able to do, able to cap that out in that last section there.
That was a good drive there by the Madison Marvels to kind of regroup, regenerate, and get back on that payload. And for the Macomb Knights, that was an excellent goal line stand. Unfortunately for them, just couldn't kind of finish it out with 18 seconds to spare. So now on the other side, you have the Macomb Knights. What are they going to have to try to do with this payload in order to kind of match or beat their score?
I think what the Macomb Knights are going to have to do here is really hunker down in that first section. I think that first section is going to be the best opportunity that the Macomb Knights are going to have against the Pharah Mercy of the Madison Marvels. I absolutely see the Pharah Mercy sticking around for the Madison Marvels. I don't see them switching off it. I think it's working out really well for them. So I think the Macomb Knights, the strongest section for them is definitely going to be that first point, that first defense. We can see that with that Pharah Mercy, they're going to be able to kind of hop over some of those buildings, but they have lots and lots of cover to play around that Pharah. They have the double hit scan with the Soldier 76 and the Cassidy on this map. So that's what I'm going to be looking out for. And I'm also going to be looking out for big tank plays. What I've been seeing a lot of are big plays from the tanks to blow out these openings. Kind of what I see is the Anna will build up her nano boost and then nano boost the Reinhardt, and then Reinhardt just charges in like a truck, breaking open the point. So they're going to have to find something to deal with the nano boosted Reinhardt that's just kind of been breaking open the defenses on both sides here.
And right now, I think the biggest thing for the Madison Marvels is setting up early, not giving them an inch, because right now, again, they took it down to the wire, and I think that's a good job by the Macomb Knights, keeping them down to 18 seconds left to go. So if the Macomb Knights are fast enough and they are able to force overtime with even a little bit more than that, you only have 18 seconds to try to get to that payload, to at least to the first checkpoint. So right now it's a predicament that the Madison Marvels are going to try to avoid. And right now, I think it's just going to all rely on how they play their defense.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well said. Well said. I think I'm just happy to see such tight matches here. I mean, this is game 3. The Madison Marvels have done a full complete. I think, honestly, the Macomb Knights are also going to match it. I think they're going to get a full complete. These teams have really incredible offenses, and I think we're going to see a full complete for the Macomb Knights. I think we're going to get an overtime, and I think it's going to be, absolute do or die, last moment. Who can pull it out in the final hour as the technical pause ends and we jump back in to the second half of Hollywood.
40 seconds to prepare, and man, if you were ever in a locker room in high school or any other a league, be it physical or e-league, you know that this moment is the most high-pressured moment where you're trying to psych yourself up right before the match and get into it.
Absolutely. Let's keep our eyes peeled on these supports. These supports are going to be, I think the support plays are going to be what kind of defines the outcome for this match here. Let's take a look at the Macomb Knights. The Macomb Knights have opted to swap the Cassidy for the Ash. I actually like this play a lot. I think it's going to work out for them very well. All right, and let's see what we've got here.
Yeah, heading into this first one, it's going to be a tight battle for the first checker.
And as they're kind of poking around, they're just trying to get some recon, get some info. What are the positions of the enemy team? Big big nade on both sides. Takes out the main tank of the Madison Marvels. That's going to be a huge opening for them. That's kind of funny. The rocket damage boosted them up onto the high ground there. Fantastic hook from Luna on the Roadhog. Opened up that whole fight for them. And as the Macomb Knights make a strong statement in the very first fight of their push here.
Yeah, right now I think the Madison Marvels having a little bit to say about that opening push.
Not to be outdone here, the Farah and, let me say, this Anna stayed alive through that whole fight and built her ultimate and was able to nano boost that Farah to close that out. Again, the support plays coming in so clutch for both of these teams. This Anna absolutely playing amazing for Madison Marvels.
You're going to be okay.
It's going to be a tight check down to the wire here. And a full stand on that objective. Definitely going to be a true test here for the Macomb Knights.
Junkrat Tire coming in, catches 2, and that's going to stall the advances of the Macomb Knights here. They're going to be forced to pull back here, as you don't want to take a fight going down 2-0 right two men right at the very beginning. Things are looking good for the Macomb Knights, though. All these ultimates on hand. It's going to be really hard for the Madison Marvels to do something about just so many ultimates.
Yeah, you see already a couple of eliminations, and now the Madison Marvels kind of battling back.
And we can see here the support players on the Madison Marvels. Just absolutely fantastic again. The Mercy staying alive through that entire kind of messy engagement there, keeping her Roadhog alive through, I think I counted 3 ultimates. And the same thing with this Anna. I mean, the support play and the amount of healing getting pumped in here is really, really something to be praised here, as they are able to out-heal 5 ultimates.
Yeah, the support play is really keeping the game alive here for the Macomb Knights, or excuse me, for the Madison Marvels.
I think for the Macomb Knights, what you're going to want to see is you're going to want to see something like a really clutch hook from this Roadhog to open this up, because you don't have anything else here that's going to blow this right open. You have to find a sneaky hook here. It looks like that he's looking for. Still fishing for it. Catches the Anna. Great catch on the Roadhog, from the Roadhog there. But now, can they withstand all the ultimates from the Madison Marvels?
Coming out right now. Wow.
And wow, what a great Junkrat Tire, taking out half of the Macomb Knights. right there. 20 seconds on the clock. I think this is going to be it for the Macomb Knights. They're not going to have a lot of time to regroup and get another proper push here, but maybe the Roadhog here was going to have something to say about that.
It's going to be all if he can stall for enough time and pull out his ultimate.
Oh my goodness, what an amazing
good
sleep.
play.
Canceling out the ultimate from the Roadhog and taking out one of the biggest threats that the Madison Marbles were going to face there in the last section. Macomb Knights not going down without a fight. Restabilizing here, finding lots of eliminations. Farah just trying to maybe just keep the point contested, but Macomb Knights right there, right when they absolutely needed it, came together and just blew open the point.
It's going to be interesting to see how they play this one out. That was absolutely clutch. That was absolutely clutch. And now the Macomb Knights, from the jaws of defeat, they are alive.
Absolutely. 2 minutes on the clock now, so they've got a little bit of room to breathe as they push into the second phase of Hollywood here. Madison Marbles already set up on the high ground. They know how they're going to want to play this section here going into this next leg of the map. Let me highlight this Junkrat player. Just, oh my god, so much damage. That triple Junkrat tire at the very beginning, on that last section there. Definitely a contender for play of the game. And an interesting swap onto Genji here. Looks like they might be playing for a Nano Blade as they try to get some kind of big team fight winning ultimate that's going to close out this map for them.
And they're pushing up and coming halfway to that first checkpoint. And right now that thing is looking like an oasis in the middle of the desert here for the Macomb Knights. With a minute 23 left to go, it'll be interesting to see how they play this.
And a really great ultimate from the Zenyatta is going to neutralize the damage from some of those ultimates, but they can't neutralize the damage from a Junkrat tire. You can't out-heal that burst. You can't out-heal if the damage is more than your health bar, so really great play from the Junkrat there, taking out half of the Macomb Knights, giving the Madison Marbles a chance to stall the advance here.
And with about a minute left, you still have one Brave tank there trying to keep this payload moving.
Wow, down to the last man here in that extended engagement, that extended fight there, really giving it all they've got. 2 ultimates, almost 3 for the Macomb Knights going into this next fight. Are they going to go for the nano boost on the soldier, or are they going to try and save it, maybe hope that the Genji can build it up? Let's see how they choose to use their ultimate here. They're going for the nano boosted on the soldier. 1 kill, 2 kills. Oh, only gets 1 kill there as they are immediately wiped out with the Farah ult. Farah, recognizing that they have to take out this threat immediately, pops the ultimate and takes out the soldier.
Now playing it down, the Macomb Knights still battling hard, and they're right near the payload. It's going to be, with 5 seconds left, it's hard to say, you know, if they're going to be able to come back, and no, they're not. Madison Marvels, what a stand. And why not end it like that? Where it was close. And these guys really battled. The Macomb Knights, give them credit. They battled all the way to the bitter end, and for the Madison Marvels, able to come up with the victory with an exquisite defensive stand on that first stage.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well played to both teams there. I really want to highlight, again, you know, I think if you first look at the Madison Marvels and you look at some of their plays and some of the things that they do, you know, you'd be, it's understandable to think that the linchpin of that team, the absolute thing that absolutely is enabling them is that Farah Mercy, but I think you absolutely can't discount the strength of the Ana player for the Madison Marvels, making so many clutch plays, even in that very last fight, getting the sleep on that Roadhog ultimate in the last fight, that could have been a huge game changer. Just pumping so much heals into their tanks, into their Farah. Hitting a Farah as an Ana is not easy by any means. So, I mean, just really great support plays from both teams. I mean, the Zenyatta player on the Macomb Knights was really, really, really on point with their transcendences. I think, you know, that was putting them up in the ultimate economy and keeping them in the game just doing such a great job. So really fantastic game from the Macomb Knights and the Madison Marvels. Really exciting stuff to watch. Any words to sign us off here, as I see some people in the chat celebrating? Yeah, absolutely amazing game.
No, I think if you're the Macomb Knights, there's nothing to be ashamed of. That was a hard battle. And like I said in the very beginning, before we went into overtime, it was a shame to see even one of these teams lose. It was a spirited battle, and it just shows you just why these kids are so tenacious. They are able to come back. Nerves of steel is putting it lightly for both of these guys. So great job to both teams. And, as a guy who's first kind of weekend actually watching Overwatch, you guys turned me into a fan.
Absolutely. We'll catch you in the chat. So right here, we're going to go ahead and kick it to a break while we get ready for the next match. If you're the Macomb Knights, you can be sad about the loss, but you can't be too sad because you're still getting an invite to North American Finals, June 24th to June 26th at the Fortress Esports Arena at Full Sail University. So well done to the Macomb Knights. That is a well-earned invite, and we look forward to seeing some more competition from them in a couple of months at the beginning of the summer. Everyone in the chat, keep it right here. We're going to get another match lined up for you guys in just a few minutes. Thank you, guys.
I'm the coach for XP League, and I'm looking forward to having an impact on these kids' lives. I've been playing video games competitively since 9th grade. I'm now 21 years old, and I've never really got to be a part of a team.
Today you guys are here for tryouts. Now you might be feeling nervous, but don't worry. Everybody makes a team. Tryouts is not about kicking you out if you're not good at the game. The only thing this is about measuring where you are at right now, so we can focus on how we can help you improve throughout the season.
Esports promotes cognition in the sense that there's multiple ways to win a game. There's not one set way that you can win a match. The meta in Overwatch varies. It depends on the game. The games change all the time, and every game is different. It has its own special, unique characteristics.
Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Keep your hands straight. Keep your hands straight.
For our practices, we aren't focused necessarily on who we're playing against, just how we can adapt our strategy towards the game. What we teach the kids when we're coaching is that there's another human being on the other side of that computer, and to treat everyone with respect.
Be down from above. I have my ultimate.
Perfect. Keep going. Keep going.
Both teams putting so much into the fight. We are so close.
Game like the pros and experience the largest North American youth esports competition.
They take it, it's so good, and that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Hanover Horde have taken the victory here in Grand Finals.
This year, XP League brings the North American Finals to the Full Sail University Orlando Health Fortress and Full Sail Live venue. The best youth gamers from across the US and Canada will battle head-to-head for the championship title this June. Do you have what it takes to be crowned the champion? The largest youth esports competition in North America is this June in Orlando. Journey begins at xpleague.gg.
Both teams putting so much into the fight. We are so close, stuck in overtime.
Game like the pros and experience the largest North American youth esports competition.
They take it, it's so good, and that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Hanover Horde have taken the victory here in Grand Finals.
Do you have what it takes to be crowned the champion? The largest youth esports competition in North America is this June in Orlando. Journey begins at xpleague.gg. Do you have what it takes to be crowned the champion? The largest youth esports competition in North America is this June in Orlando. Your journey begins at xpleague.gg.
Yeah, I'm not gonna rip it.
It doesn't matter at all.
Esports is a multi-billion-dollar industry. We're taking that and we're delivering it to elementary and middle school kids.
Yo, you guys are getting pretty wrecked by me. Dad, all right, push up with me.
We're bridging the gap between conventional athletics and competitive gaming. We have kids working on the same technology that the pros are training to improve their skills.
When did you lose? Why did you lose? Like the games that you lost, why did you lose?
Through a partnership with the Positive Coaching Alliance, our coaches go through a double goal certification. They learn not only how to work through the strategies of the different games they're playing, but they also work through how to impact these kids' lives in a positive way. They get to mark and highlight behaviors and attributes that will lead to long-term life skills.
You love being Battle Mercy.
Yes, Battle Mercy.
No, it's not. Why don't you tell us your favorite move that Mercy does?
So what brought me to XP League is the experience of my children. I had always hoped and wanted them to be a part of a youth athletics team. So I realized they all love competitive gaming. So why not marry their passion with what I'm hoping for them to learn and achieve and put healthy, solid values in place in something that the kids want to do and are excited about doing.
Yes, Boop
Experience points. Every game awards experience points. And what we built here is an experience. Professional level equipment, the top tier partners in esports. They're also getting the experience of sportsmanship values, of working with mentors and coaches, and of being part of the team. It's all about the experience.
I need you. Nice. Go, group in now. Push in. We don't have to good game.
Welcome back. Here we are with another exciting match. We are in the grand finals for, I believe this is Group A. We have the Franklin Nomads versus the Hanover Horde. This is a rematch from the match that we saw yesterday. Another really, really exciting, awesome match. Franklin Nomads, Hanover Horde. Hanover Horde did take it 2-0, but the Franklin Nomads did not make it easy by any means. They took a couple rounds and definitely kept it close in those fights. So it's going to be really exciting to see the Hanover Horde and Franklin Nomads back at it again in this grand finals. Now that we are grand finals, we're going to be using a best of 5 format. So in our map rotation today, we have control, escort, hybrid, and once we get to game 4 and game 5, if we do, I'm hoping we get to see a game 4 and a game 5, we will see another control and escort map.
And it's going to be interesting to see how these teams adapt from a more shorter series to a more respectable 5-game series. With 3-game series, it's kind of a crapshoot, I would like to say, because I mean, again, calling for Rocket League, it is just more of the first game. You need to know your opponent right off the bat. And once you win that first game, you have the clear series advantage. But here in this 5-game, you have time to kind of get to know your opponent for the first game, for the second game. And if you take the series 2-0, that's when you have the advantage. But if it's 1-1, that is when it kind of cuts the series down to a 3-game. And by then, you already know who you're facing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're going to have more time to adapt, more time to collect themselves and figure out the matchup and what they can do to take home this win. Hanover Horde, it's worth noting, are the Overwatch NAF champions from last year. some of the most intimidating records of any team in any game in the league. Super dominant team. The Franklin Nomads have absolutely shown that they have time and time again been able to compete with these teams. Yesterday, the Franklin Nomads, what we saw a lot of was trying to kind of play around the I think what we saw with the Franklin Nomads was just not as much in-depth map knowledge as the Hanover Horde seemed to have. In those later matches, as they kind of got deeper and deeper into the map pool, they just didn't seem as comfortable as the Hanover Horde. Not as rehearsed on certain sections of the map, and so it seemed like the Franklin Nomads had some kind of studying to do between now and then, and I'll be interested to see what differences in their gameplay they've made between then and now.
And it's just all about making those adjustments to a longer series. It's turning a sprint into a race, and once you get into 7-game series, it's more of like turning a sprint into a marathon. So it's just keeping up with each other, trading those blows, and just getting to know each other right off the bat.
All right, here we go. I can hear it in my ears. We are going to be going to Nepal for the first map here as we get started. Let's take a look at the team compositions that they're going to be choosing to start off with. And here we are on Nepal. We saw some really great plays here in the last game, ranging from all the environmental kills. I think I remember even the Franklin Nomads actually had a really, really great environmental play here. I remember the Roadhog flanking around, dropping down into this hallway, and catching the Horde by surprise as he pushed the Horde into the abyss here. So hopefully we'll see some more really fun environmental plays here.
Yeah, definitely. As we get set up here to start. Last game, it really seemed like that top landing point was the main focal point of the battle. So it's going to be interesting to see how these two teams kind of come at each other.
Yeah, so we've got a Reinhardt Diva. So Diva going to give them a little more mobility, and they're running the Hanzo and the Symmetra. Symmetra is going to be an interesting play here. How are they going to utilize Symmetra in this engagement here as they speed their way with the Lucio speed boost directly onto this high ground, taking positional advantage in this first engagement.
Not to kind of cut you off here, partner. I don't think you switched the scenes.
You're right.
Well, they paused anyway, so it paused just for us.
I hope they didn't just pause for us, but I do appreciate it. Hopefully my verbal commentary was enough to give you guys an idea for what was going on there.
I like what Fix said. We see your lovely faces, that is all.
Thank you, Physics. Really, definitely appreciate it. But let's get back to the match here. And this pause actually gives us a little time here to kind of analyze what they've got going on here. So it looks like the Franklin Nomads believe that if they can get there first and be really aggressive with their positioning, that they can kind of box out and not give the Hanover Horde any footing. It seems like they want to kind of keep them off balance the entire time. So they went with the Symmetra so that they could teleport and cover a lot of ground really quickly, and then they used that Lucio speed boost to get to that critical top ground and get there first and get the better positioning. And it looks like what the Hanover Horde are going to try and do here is kind of keep to what I would say is pretty standard for their game plan. The only thing that's a little bit interesting here that I don't recognize from their previous composition is the Wrecking Ball on Kid MDK. Kid MDK, to their credit, already has 63% of the way to their ultimate, so it's looking like the Wrecking Ball is doing some work.
Yeah, right now, it's interesting to see how the Franklin Nomads set up here. And when it comes to juxtaposition to what we saw in the last match, they're already just going straight for the centerpiece objective. Whereas the Hanover Horde, they're going to be trying to take the high ground, so it's going to be interesting to see who comes out on top.
Yeah, absolutely. And it seems like one of the adaptations that I'm also seeing here is that, you know, they recognize that the Franklin Nomads are having trouble closing in on the Hanover Horde, but with that Symmetra teleporter, they can essentially be right in their faces, right where the Franklin Nomads want to be, with just one ability, instantly teleport their whole team right into the faces of the Hanover Horde. Hanover Horde do stabilize, though, and are able to recap the point as it ticks up for them.
Excellent play there to keep them kind of on their heels. And now they're forced to reset, the Franklin Nomads are, so gives the Hanover Horde a little bit more time to capture and set up a defensive checkpoint.
So it looks like the Franklin Nomads are going to push forward here. How are they going to utilize this ultimate? They choose to invest the ultimate. 2 down for the Horde, 1 kill for the Nomads here as they're going into a 3v5 match here as they choose to commit to this fight.
Excellent play there by Kidcom. Just getting that elimination and getting the ball out of the way.
Let's take a look at here at Pizza Freak. Pizza Freak, another infamous Junkrat player in the league, known for some really heroic plays on that Junkrat.
Yeah, right now, the Hanover Horde being pushed out of the objective, and with 65% and counting with their capture speed, it's going to be kind of a drag race to the finish, I would say.
And there was that hero play, called it out, that Junkrat Tire, 3 kills immediately. You know, the Franklin Nomads were looking really strong at the start of that engagement, but as soon as that Junkrat Tire came out, it seems like they didn't quite have an answer or a way to deal with that tire as it was coming through.
90%.
But a big shatter.
And a big play there to keep them out of the center line. And with 99% overtime looming, it's going to be interesting to see how the Hanover Horde deal with this.
Franklin Nomads take the point over, 15%, 99, ticking up for the Franklin Nomads. They're going to have to win maybe 2 or 3. They're going to have to win about 3 fights if they're going to want to stay in this. So now is do or die for them. If they lose any fight, this will be the first loss on this section here. So let's see how they choose to approach this. They're going to try and play this close right here at the very entrance.
Not a bad strategy to have to try to keep them at bay and keep pushing them back. But right now, the Hanover Horde with a couple of ultimates, one throwing it out. Let's see how they handle it.
Wow, 4 kills from that Diva Bomb. Incredible play from Toonbury on the Diva. That is absolutely amazing. It's going to flip the point over to the Hanover Horde. Can anybody contest this on the side of the Franklin Nomads? Nobody's able to make it in time, and the Hanover Horde will secure the first section of Nepal here.
That was a great round played by the Hanover Horde. Lost it for a second when it was 99% in going into overtime, but never lost their composure and forced out the Franklin Nomads. Now the Nomads are going to be having to be the ones to kind of regroup and get back into this thing.
I think the biggest thing the Nomads will have to do is find an answer to the Junkrat Tire. Find an answer to the Diva Bombs. They need an answer to those big burst damage ultimates. It seems like whatever's happening, the Lucio ultimate isn't ready in time for those big burst damage ultimates, and so they're gonna have to find some way, maybe through a clutch. We have T's Immortality Field. Maybe they focus down those burst damage heroes. It looks like that's exactly what they do. Junkrat goes down right at the very beginning.
And it's going to be interesting to see with how much damage these guys are getting in the beginning, how they're going to kind of tax that in terms of their ultimate.
And a little bit of a skirmish on the point here as the Wrecking Ball just trying to be a little annoying, trying to stop it from automatically flipping over to the Macomb Nomads, as the Nomads are trying to kind of get these guys out of here so they can start ticking up. A little bit of poke here before the engagement.
Already setting up here the Home Knights. Or excuse me, that was last round. I meant to say the Franklin Nomads.
And it seems like the Nomads are finding their footing here and have found a good defensible spot and strategy for keeping the Horde out of the objective here, and are pushing them out now and kind of routing them and staggering this poor D.Va off the map.
Missy right now playing a good job being support as he's able to keep his team into the fight.
But here it is, the big burst damage ultimate in Junkrat's tire is online. How will the Nomads react to this? They kind of abandon the point, and a cheeky play from the Wrecking Ball forces them to drop off of the high ground and come down towards the point. They're going to try and force them to play in this small zone here. They separate the Reinhardt, get the kill there. Ultimate's coming out. They think this is it. They can win this here. And I gotta say, I agree with the full engagement.
And just trying to dissipate these Franklin Nomads who have been so dominant on the objective here. Right now as it's contested and it finally goes into the Hanover Horde's control.
Hanover Horde have their work cut out for them, 79% to 5 here. But they do still have the Junkrat tire on hand, but they're down 1 with the D.Va going down early, giving the Nomads an early advantage going into this fight.
Right now, if you're the Franklin Nomads, you're just trying to play the kind of to the numbers. Take one at a time and pick your target.
So keep an eye on this Mei here with her freeze. It's going to be a battle of the Mei ultimate versus the Junkrat ultimate, I think, for this fight. And the point flips already, almost no kind of fight from the Hanover Horde. Seems they want to give it up and try and get the regroup to get the retake. And there it is, the giant burst tire coming in for the Junkrat tire coming in for the Hanover Horde is going to flip the point right away.
It's a 1-on-3, 98%, not able to get the 99. And now it's going to be a drag race to the finish to see who gets this one, with 35 and counting for the Hanover Horde.
And Lucio here looking like DSP Stanky, one of the best Lucio players, like a DPS Lucio, doing so much damage, getting 2 kills with just a melee. Really interesting play there coming out from Lanchin on the Lucio.
Now the Hanover Horde bewildered here as the Franklin Nomads threatening to capture.
Big ultimates coming out for both sides here. Both Lucios have invested their ultimates. Mei has invested her freeze ultimate, but it looks like the Hanover Horde came out on top of the exchange and are going to flip this back over to them.
65%, and it's going to be a tall task here for the Franklin Nomads to kind of get back into this objective and capture.
Let's take a look at how the Baptiste is going to choose to utilize his window here coming into this fight. Let's take a look at also at the D.Va on the side of the Hanover Horde and how she's going to choose to utilize this bomb. You know, if I'm D.Va, I'm tempted to just throw my bomb into that little small room and hope that it catches all of them. But it looks like the Nomads smartly are going to choose to go a different direction and rotate to a different angle. Amazing play there.
99%. Hanover Horde trying to hold on for dear life here on this overtime, and now it flips.
It's the Junkrat tires. It's the Junkrat tires. It's the Junkrat tires. For both sides here, the Junkrat tires are just blowing open these objectives as the Hanover Horde staggers in, trying to get any kind of contest going.
They're not going to. What a great match. 100% to 99. Both overtimes. And wow. That is a hard-earned point. And as if this 5-game series wasn't going to be close enough, we already have a 1-1 tie heading into our 3rd and final match here for this opening map.
Our 1-1 on this first map. This is exactly what we want to see. The adaptations in competition, in this competition, and I think what we're seeing is you know, the Macomb, the Franklin Nomads realize, hey, you know what? That Junkrat tire is pretty good. Let's get a Junkrat tire of our own.
They're just going to be battling, jockeying for position here, trying to get a good setup with the match.
And the Franklin Nomads do get the first advantage in terms of positioning here, but a great little side flank, getting an alternate angle on hit scan, is able to take out the Symmetra. But with this strong positioning, how are they going to crack this open? How are they going to stop this? What are the Horde going to do to kind of take out the defenses here? Really, really strong front line on the Franklin Nomads.
Right now, they're just going to be trying to focus on kind of the bodies here, trying to keep each other to man-on-man. As you, again, the Junkrat wheel you mentioned is going to be playing a big part of it. And I think right now they're trying to bust out everything they can in order to bust open that objective.
And with that healing, they're going to be able to get lots of ults here. Almost 4 ults for the Hanover Horde, 1 ult online for the Franklin Nomads. So this is the opportunity for the Hanover Horde to break this open and get this first play. Are they going to open it up with the mines? Yep, there it is. Mines open up the fight. And they're pushing in with basically all their ultimates, only saving the high noon, and that's going to be enough, I think, for them to push in here and get some progress.
60% here so far for the Franklin Nomads. For the Hanover Horde, kind of yet to show any kind of resistance until now, and now it's contested. Almost taken for the Hanover Horde and breaking up their 0% skid.
Wow, the Franklin Nomads did such a great job of extending that fight for so long that now the tanks are back. The tanks have regrouped and they are making the most of it, and this point still hasn't flipped over. I mean, the Franklin Nomads are getting progress on that counter. They're likely to get it to 99 if this continues, even though the Hanover Horde have largely been winning this fight for so long. Because they never flipped it, that's basically a one fight for the Franklin Nomads. Great job kind of extending that overtake.
Now with the Hanover Horde trying to keep this one at bay, and again, a tall task to ask is trying to get this thing back to a victory here for the Hanover Horde with 93% looming.
Here comes the tire.
Nomads.
Catches the enemy, catches the Horde's Junkrat player, but with both support ultimates on hand, you know, it's going to take more than just the Junkrat tire, I think, to take out the Hanover Horde here with all those defensive support ultimates.
I think that's going to be another big factor here in this third and final match is the support. How they play it, when they play it, and how the other team counters.
So looking at this now, both Lucia ults online. Junkrat has their tire on the Hanover Horde. It's going to be up to this Lucio to use their ult in time to save their team from that Junkrat tire. Opts to use it right now as their team tries to push in. Both Lucy ults coming through, both support ults coming through, but with a fantastic mines from the Wrecking Ball on the side of the Hanover Horde, they're able to burst through all that healing.
They're closing the gap, 85%.
And now it's going to be a mad scramble for the Hanover Horde, and heavy are this Junkrat shoulders as he's going to try and get the biggest Junkrat tire he possibly can. Are they aware of it? Are they aware of it? Catches the enemy Junkrat, is going to neutralize that threat as they push in. Big shatter could give an opportunity as the Nomads are coming in here, and the Horde are just going to try and stall this retake to hopefully get some kind of regroup and give their other players time to get back in here.
good job there by the Hanover Horde to kind of keep them at bay. That's going to be another tall task here for the Horde to try to keep this one at a cap.
Another Junkrat tire is going to eliminate the Baptiste, the main heals for the Franklin Nomads, and now the tanks aren't looking good as they start to fall without their supports.
Victory.
And let's take a look at play of the game here. Oh, sorry, please go ahead.
Play
Oh no,
of the game.
that was just a huge play there. Yeah, no, that's good.
Here we go. Yep, the triple diva bomb and even the fourth kill onto the other diva with the remech. Love to see a remech kill. Those are always really fun. The mech slams down to the ground, and anyone who's right there standing on top of it will get squished.
Epic.
Excellent play there, and excellent support there for both teams. Able to make the adjustment for the Hanover Horde and able to come up with this victory.
Yeah, really impressive display right there on that performance. What I noticed there, especially in that last fight, was they had a lot of extended engagements on both sides. So the Franklin Nomads used the extended fights, the extended engagement to kind of give themselves as much percentage, stall the retake, and get themselves to like 99%. And then the Hanover Horde, on that very last fight of the game, they stalled the engagement for so long that they gave their players a chance to come back into the fight. Because if we remember, the Junkrat on the Franklin Nomads used their tire to take out the enemy Junkrat. And so they understood that, you know what, we're going to use our support ults, we're going to keep ourselves alive in this fight, and what we're going to do is we're just going to keep pumping lots and lots of heals. We're not going to commit, we're not going to try and fight them on the point. We're going to play these off angles, and we're going to play as safe as we can so that we can get all of our team back in here and extend this fight, give us a better chance at getting this retake and holding this.
Yeah, and it's just a test to just how close these few matches have been, especially that first one, man. The 99% to 100%. That was crazy to watch, and just 3 consecutive overtime takes. But coming into this next match, this is why I'd say 5-game series is more of a race than a sprint, because in a 3-game series you already have the advantage. You already have the series advantage. It's already match point. So with this game 5, it gives, in this case, the Franklin Nomads a little bit of time to breathe. Yes, they're down by 1, but there is a chance that they can come back. And in this best of 5, if they win this next one, it cuts that thing down, back down to a best of 3. And they're already used to each other. They already had it. They already duked it out, and they already know each other's strats.
Absolutely. I love the adaptation that we saw on the Nomads and the Horde. And the Nomads, understanding, you know what, we need some burst damage of our own. Let's get that Junkrat tire in there. I think what's really going to be the difference maker again is how they play around each other's big burst damage plays. These burst damage plays that kind of instantly turn the fight into one other team's favor. Whenever they're kind of doing these poke fights and they're just trying to build their ultimates, it seems like the Franklin Nomads seem to have the advantage in the kind of the straight up kind of brawls, but the Hanover Horde are really savvy around playing around those ultimates and playing around the extended fights.
And with the Hanover Horde, they had a great chance here to battle it out. They did. They took it, and they come out with a 1-0 series lead. And coming into this next map, they're going to try to battle hard in order to get the chokehold of this series. Because I think when it comes to 2 teams playing in a playoff kind of format, hard the Hanover Horde come to battle.
Absolutely. Going into Havana, it seems like this seems to be the favored map for teams this regionals. They seem to really like these angles, these long ranged battles. So I'll be excited to see kind of the whittle duels, the ranged battles that happen here on this first section here with some of the best mechanically skilled players in all of XP League.
Yeah, and with 36 seconds, it's going to be interesting to see how the Franklin Nomads set up their first defensive push.
Yeah, let's take a look at kind of where they're looking to set up here. It looks like they're going to have the double snipers on the high ground, the Widowmaker and the Hanzo up here, and then they're going to have their Orisa down there on the corner. So they're not going to choose to try and fight them at their spawn. They're going to choose to fight here at this corner, play a little safer, and play for this corner and hopefully kind of enable their snipers a little more. All right, let's take a look and see if we can get if there's any opening picks right at the beginning of the fight here. Both very smart. Both Sigmas using their shields for their respective snipers, giving them both ample opportunity and a pull there from the Orisa to combo with the snipe. Awesome team play there. Love that. Love to see that. Oh, and just the tiniest little pixel of their head box is peeking out for hit scan to go ahead and punish. Now Kin MDK has all the space in the world to have all the fun he wants with his hook.
It's going to be important here for the support players for the Hanover Horde to keep this payload moving. Especially now that you sent the Franklin Nomads back to their own spawn.
Enemies in our orbit.
And they're going to try and keep them cooped up in this tight alleyway here. They want to keep them there. They don't want them to get a recontest. They want to keep them in this tight space where they can focus lots and lots of damage.
The good flank here by Kidmex as takes a little bit more damage, but able to get one elimination there.
And
now the Hanover Horde able to take the first checkpoint.
Great tank play from the Franklin Nomads, honestly. I mean, Orisa was able to make so much space and push through that alleyway. Not an easy thing to do. But even then, with all of that, they still weren't able to get the contest onto the payload in time as their backline was having a little more trouble pushing through that alleyway.
And now pushing through, you have 3 people on the payload, 2 people, 1 person, and now the payload kind of stops right after the first checkpoint. Still 4 minutes 33 left to go, and they're creeping up to halfway point to that that second checkpoint. It's going to be interesting to see how the Hanover Horde deals with this choke point for the Franklin Nomads.
And the Widow already coming through. 3 kills in this fight alone, taking advantage and kind of forcing them on this door, forcing the Nomads onto their back foot, not even having to invest many ultimates in this fight. Great job from the Hanover Horde, really capitalizing on the momentum they have from that first point.
2 ultimates ready. And on the other side, for the Hanover Horde, you already have 3. It's going to be interesting to see how they tax that out.
And great job from the Ladderlass on the Hanzo here. Takes out the Widow. Great job. Franklin Nomads have stabilized and stopped it from completing the second section here on Havana. Now, how will they set up their defenses now that they're able to take a little bit of time to breathe and reposition?
Yeah, it's a good job by the Franklin Nomads. They had to get control of the payload, and now they're going to have to set up their defensive checkpoint. It's going to be a little bit more hard for the Hanover Horde to battle through this one.
Both Sigma ultimates coming out on both sides here. But it looks like the Franklin Nomad Sigma isn't able to complete their ultimate and gets punished a little quickly there as the Hanover Horde are pushing this objective all the way in again.
You get to the second checkpoint, 4 minutes 11 to go now to get to that third and final checkpoint. And now, all the pressure winds down to the Franklin Nomads and how they're going to be setting up this defensive.
Yep, they're really going to have to look out for this Widow sideline. I mean, this section of the map has the strongest Widow sideline in the entire map, so how they play around this is going to be everything for both teams, as both of the Widows here show what they're made of.
Now you have 3 ultimates ready here for the Hanover Horde. It's going to be interesting to see how they decide to play.
Hanover Horde here just playing absolutely amazingly. So much space, all the space in the world for them. It seems like they're using this Junkrat so well, just deleting those shields so that their range damage can just go in and wreak havoc. Great hook from Roadhog there is going to take out the Hanzo. The Franklin Nomads just doing anything they can to throw bodies on the payload at this point.
Just a little bit more here for the capture. They have 3 people, 4 people, and that'll do it with 2:45 remaining. That, I think, is the quickest I've seen so far this weekend. And excellent play here by the Hanover Horde, not letting the Franklin Nomads' excellent defensive position get to them. They're able to come up with the win, and in a speedy fashion at that.
Absolutely, just great job from the Hanover Horde. Really dominating offense there. They really took advantage of the momentum that was presented to them in that first point and took it all the way through this second point. Franklin Nomads looked like they were starting to stabilize here, but just it seems like they couldn't get the value out of their ultimates. I think what happened there was the Nomads kind of reacted with their ultimates instead of being proactive with their ultimates. So that is to say that the Hanover Horde, when it came time for them to put in another attack on this warehouse section, they started the fight with their ultimates, putting the Franklin Nomads on the back foot right away, and then that forced the Nomads to have to use those ultimates in reaction to, maybe a little bit of a deficit. Maybe they're pushed back a little farther than they wanted to be. So maybe they should be a little more proactive with their ultimates. Maybe they have to be a little more careful with their positioning. We'll see what kind of adaptations they make here as they put on their own offensive.
Yeah, I like what you said there, being proactive versus reactive. I think right now that's the thing that's going to make the difference between these two teams, is who's more proactive.
As we can see here, a couple of interesting plays going on. It seems like they wanted to send the Wrecking Ball and the Tracer to go deal with the Widowmaker and try to flank around, but it seems like the Hanover Horde caught them out and were able to stop them from doing any kind of damage to their backline.
Already pushing up that main alleyway, and the Franklin Nomads definitely showing their dominance in terms of offense, but coming in, what a good push by Hanover Horde.
Yeah, with those flankers going off and trying to harass the backline, that leaves the front line vulnerable for Franklin Nomads, so it's going to be largely up to the flankers to cause enough distraction to make that flank worth it. So let's see how that's working out for them as they push around the corner here and are able to harass this Widow and kind of take away some of the effectiveness that they may have had.
Now they're creeping up to this first checkpoint. Already 4 people on the payload, but the Hanover Horde already setting up in different sight lines, trying to fire on all cylinders at all angles.
And you can see Hitscan here having a much harder time than they did last round, having to play and reposition so much more now that they've got these flankers going around causing havoc for them. I think this is actually a great composition change, a great strategy change call for the Franklin Nomads. It's put the Hanover Horde on the back foot, and having to constantly reposition is really hurting their Widowmaker's ability to pump damage like they were last round.
Now is the more defensive favored part of the map coming into this next payload part. So it's going to be kind of weird to see how these guys kind of react to each other.
And there we go. The first ultimate coming out. Looks like they are being proactive and starting the fight with their ults instead of waiting for the enemy to start with their ults, kind of boxing them and forcing the Horde to come out a different angle that they might have wanted to there. Junkrat Tire comes out, but is immediately caught out by the Junkrat on the Franklin Nomads, as the Hanover Horde are still in this, still trying, and with that amazing Earthshatter, are able to bring it back. Great play from the Reinhardt on the Hanover Horde.
Yeah, and for the Franklin Nomads, they're gonna have to try to hurry up here with 3 minutes 41 to go. It's if you waste too much time here, if you are able to force overtime, it's just gonna be kind of a detriment to you.
Well, Franklin Nomads, though, they have a lot of resources going into this next fight. They have three very, very powerful ultimates. You know, if I was them, I would want to combo that signal with the Junkrat Tire. An amazing pulse bomb from Tracer, catches 2. Wow, you got to be feeling good about that one. Amazing plays there. Instantly deletes their team in like 10 seconds. Great set play there from Franklin Nomads.
That Tracer was the opening blow that opened the floodgates, and now they're past the second checkpoint, heading into the final stretch.
And the adaptation that we're seeing from the Hanover Horde is that they've swapped here for the Ashe. Ashe finally gets their ultimate on board. They haven't been able to be as effective as they might have wanted to be, but maybe they'll make some kind of adaptation here that will let them kind of shine the way they're hoping to. I think they've swapped to the Ashe because they know that with an Ashe, you know, they can battle with the Tracer and the Wrecking Ball a little more than they would if they were on Widowmaker. So let's see how they're going to utilize Ashe's Bob and Dynamite here.
Point to the checkpoint, and now you're going to start seeing the Hanover Horde's defense trying to clamp up and keep them out to the outskirts.
Bob coming out from the Ashe, and and those mines doing so much damage, are able to take out 2 members of the Hanover Horde as they push it across the bridge here. And now the Widowmaker for the Franklin Nomads is going to have control of this sight line here on the payload. Not going to want to touch this payload without your tanks present, that's for sure.
That's for definite. Coming into this final half, almost to the objective spot with 3:03 left to go. 15 seconds faster than the Hanover Horde.
And the supports are doing their absolute best to try and stay in this, trying to stall this out. They're having to play at weird angles because of the Widowmaker just absolutely dominating anything she sees. So they're not ever really able to get kind of comfortable here, get some kind of footing, as the Franklin Nomads are going to close this out with 2 minutes and 30 seconds, coming down to 2 minutes on the clock. Wow, this is really, really even on both sides.
Definitely, and you know what, man? It was a masterclass on both sides when it comes to the moving that payload. And I think coming into this latter half, it's going to come down to who can get it there faster. With 2 minutes, I think both these guys, or both these teams rather, have, you know, an upper hand, so to say. So it's just going to be interesting to see who is ready to start. Who's ready to play first?
Absolutely. And the hallmark of these top teams is their ability to adapt on the fly to the challenges that are being presented to them. And we're seeing that in real time with the switches to the more mobile team compositions, the switches to the Ashe, the switches to, I mean, it's just, you know, rock, paper, scissors over and over again. And they're just playing at this RPS game at a much faster pace now. And I think we're starting to see them really kind of flex what makes them a top team.
Kind of setting up another firing range type deal with the Hanover Horde, and not exactly a bad way to start this out. Shooting from a distance and just trying to keep these guys trapped in their own area.
All right, overtime, 2 minutes at the clock. It looks like they're going to stick with that mobile comp that they had last time as they mount another offensive here. Hanover Horde not opting for the second sniper, instead keeping the Junkrat. I think they recognize that Junkrat's going to do a better job of dealing with Tracer than Widowmaker or Ashe for that matter. And it looks like it worked out because Tracer, you know, got a little confident there, dashing into the team, gets taken out quickly.
I think right now the Tracer's doing a good job at trying to keep that Junkrat at bay.
Junkrat for the Hanover Horde goes down as the Horde starts to come up in eliminations and pushes the Hanover Horde out of their defensive positions. Really, really strong offense here on the Franklin Nomads. Tracer already has her pulse bomb going into the second section here. They're going to look for the staggers. They're not going to want to let them set up here. So let's see what this Tracer does with this pulse bomb.
With 50 seconds left, they're already through the first checkpoint.
Loses out on the pulse bomb, but right here, Wrecking Ball with their mines looking to get some kind of trap, set up a trap here for the Hanover Horde.
Payload's still moving, and it's nearly halfway to the second checkpoint.
Franklin Nomads map have with their strong map awareness are ready for the Wrecking Ball and its mines and the Tracer in the backline. Catch them both out and are going to go into this fight looking pretty strong, but not to be outdone. The Junkrat on the Franklin Nomads takes out 2 for the Hanover Horde, essentially turning this into an even fight, an all-out brawl onto the point. Let's see what happens here. Wow, just excellent plays on both sides here. It's a little hard to figure out who's going to come out on top here as the Franklin Nomads limbs start to pile up.
They're all going to be gathering up in that checkpoint right on the other side of that door. It's going to be interesting to see who is going to make the first mistake. That's the thing. Both teams just waiting to see who's going to make the first mistake.
And this fight is so critical. Every single meter that the Franklin Nomads push here is another meter that the Hanover Horde is going to have to beat. And lots of ultimates are going to come out here. They're throwing everything they have here. Sigma ultimate for the Franklin Nomads, and the Lucio ult's going to give them lots of sustain as they push into this fight. Alright, but no kills coming out for the Franklin Nomads. Hanover Horde is going to come in here with their ultimates up 2, up 3, up 4, and now this is looking like it's going to be it for the Franklin Nomads advance here, but you got to be really happy with the Franklin Nomads pushing it this far with 2 minutes on the clock.
That was an excellent play by the Franklin Nomads. And now the Hanover Horde are going to have to match or beat that score with just 2 minutes and 10 seconds. Just 10 seconds above what the Franklin Nomads had.
Absolutely. Looking into this, I mean, this is a high pressure situation, and the Franklin Nomads are just absolutely dealing with it wonderfully. I'd love to see how the Franklin Nomads are going to play around this. We can actually see already another adaptation here with the Cassidy. They're going to be able to use that flashbang stun to catch out the Tracer, to catch out the Wrecking Ball, and punish those highly mobile flankers that have been such a thorn in the side of the Hanover Horde here.
Where'd you learn to shoot like that?
With 22 seconds left to go, Hanover Horde have their challenges cut out for them. That's definite.
Very mobile composition from the Hanover Horde with the Diva and the Wrecking Ball, opting not to have a shield tank. Looks like they're going to be playing those off angles, going for a lot of flanks here. Which actually makes sense, because in an overtime situation, you want your team to be able to chase the enemy team and not let them regroup at any point. You want to get those staggers and chase down as much as you can. And elimination's opening up already. I mean, look at just how aggressive they're playing. It looks like that aggression is getting called out by the Franklin Nomads as they unfortunately push into a Junkrat's damage range and are going to find themselves bursted down.
Right now, I think the Hanover Horde are going to have to try to steadfast here and just keep this payload moving.
A little bit of poke here going on as they try to build up their ultimates for the primary engagement. Wrecking Ball coming in here, being a little bit of annoyance, making lots of space for them to push around that corner on the payload. A Junkrat tire coming out already. Where is it? Where is it? Try to spot it, Hanover Horde. Can you find it? They catch it out as the Lucio, with a great play, is able to take out that tire before it's able to do any damage.
Under a minute left. Still trying to get to that first checkpoint.
The tire here trying to wait out the ultimate, but is able to catch out too.
And with the Hanover Horde, looking a little stronger here after this initial kind of flurry of offensive might.
Interestingly, it looks like the strategy here from the Hanover Horde is to, from the Franklin Nomads, is to just kind of burn the clock as much as they can. And I can't say that I disagree. They have a lot of space to work with. So, you know, why not throw a Tracer? Why not throw a Wrecking Ball? Throw those characters that can be really annoying and waste lots of time. Every second here is going to be important for them. But now that they've kind of burned the clock enough, they need to get a regroup so they can get this last big team fight. Ultimates, 4 ultimates for the Hanover Horde, 3 ultimates for the Franklin Nomads. Who's going to come out on top? This fight is going to be so important for both of them.
Now we're reaching overtime. It's going to be important here for the Hanover Horde to keep this thing alive.
And let's see how they're going to choose to get this going. First ultimate comes out from the side of the Franklin Nomads. First blood gets drawn by the Hanover Horde, taking out the Tracer. Ultimates coming out from both sides here as they're going to try and take the win here. Diva Bomb takes out both supports for the Franklin Nomads, and that's going to be, I think, the victory in this team fight for the Hanover Horde as they push it into this last section here. What kind of stall are we going to see here? What are the Franklin Nomads going to do with their back against the wall?
Kind of seeing flashbacks of the last match the Franklin Nomads are, as they kind of off kilter, having 4 people on the payload, and now they just reached the second.
Franklin Nomad, Hanover Horde very wisely there chooses not to let them regroup. You could see that their mobile characters, their Lucio, their Wrecking Ball, their Trace, the Wrecking Ball were going out and getting more kills and not letting the regroup ever happen. So they weren't ever even really able to contest in that last section of the warehouse. As we go into what is going to be the last fight of this match here.
Last stand here for the Franklin Nomads, trying to keep Hanover Horde at bay. And right now, Hanover Horde, they're looking pretty comfortable on that payload.
And without the full strength of the Franklin Nomads here, they're looking to just trying to get some stall onto this payload. Tracer dashing around, using a recall, trying to get as much time and contest on that payload as possible, looking for an opening, but man, it's going to be difficult here for the Franklin Nomads to get a regroup. Junkrat tire coming out of spawn for the Hanover Horde. Their spawn is pretty close, but it looks like the Franklin Nomads have done a good job of getting a chance to regroup here as they drop their mines onto the payload. Oh, actually, it looks like the Hanover Horde's mines, but not to be outdone, there's the mines for the Franklin Nomads.
Well, looks like it's going to be all Hanover Horde here, as they able to come up with the victory. I would say the strong sense here, definitely the offense on both sides. That was a great matchup.
Let's take a look at this play of the game from the Tracer. Yags was on fire all match with some really heroic plays. This has got to be the double kill on the sticky, and then quickly taking out the and then the Junkrat tire to follow up and take out the rest of the Hanover Horde. Man, these players are on fire. The DPS on both teams playing out of their minds.
We have a consensus.
It was a great matchup by both sides, and again, another even matchup as the Hanover Horde take the series stranglehold here at 2-0 here in this best of 5.
Let's take a look at the map pool here. So since this is a best of 5, that is going to mean that the it's showing us a draw here. Let me update this. There we go. Hanover Horde going up 2-0 in this best of 5 series, going to a hybrid map now. And I mean, these games are as close as they could possibly get. Look at that, 1-2, 5-6. I mean, a 5-6 on a map like Havana is nothing to scoff at. but the Hanover Horde are going to be looking to close this out. You know, they've got to be feeling somewhat comfortable with their 2-0 lead, but you know, they can't let up the pressure at all. If they give the Franklin Nomads any chance, the Nomads will take it.
Both of them in 2 minutes almost recaptured, and including overtime, but they almost recaptured for 3 straight points. It would have been 7-6 in terms of points in the last match. So it's going to be interesting to see what and who kind of how they adjust their play style from last game to this one.
Absolutely. I mean, honestly, I'm not. If I'm the Nomads, I'm looking at my gameplay and I'm just racking my head, thinking, okay, what do we have to do here? Where are we kind of faltering? And I think it's just mentality at this point. Both of them are so skilled. Both of them are at every role, at every point, are so strong that they've got what it takes. I mean, they've got the mechanical skills, they've got the game knowledge, they've got everything they need to be able to beat the Hanover Horde. But in those high pressure clutch moment situations, I think the mentality of the Hanover Horde is just that little bit much stronger than the Franklin Nomads.
Yeah, and talking about the mentality, if you're the Franklin Nomads, how do you come into this third match, man? You've thrown everything you had in the kitchen sink at the Hanover Hordes, and it just seems it's not like they're being steamrolled. It's just they're losing by just that much. And I know the mentality has to be, it's like, how do we beat these guys? So if you're if you're the Franklin Nomads coach, what are you telling your guys?
If I'm the Franklin Nomads coach, I am singing the heck out of the praises of every single member of my team. I'm so proud of the performance that every single one of them are putting on, how close they're keeping it. They're not giving up. They're playing as a team and going for these amazing plays, doing absolutely amazing. So if I'm the coach of the Hanover, I'm absolutely singing their praise, and I'm trying to take as much of the pressure off them as I can, and trying to get them to just have fun at this point, because at this point there's nothing else they can do. They can't study any tape. There's not really more strategies that they can come up with. They have all the strategies in their heads. They know what to do. They know how to execute. What they have to do at this point is just take the pressure off, so that they don't have any weight holding them down to perform.
That's a really good point. That is a really good point in terms of just the mentality of these athletes. We're coming into a very pressureful game. Sometimes the best thing to do is let go and just have fun, because at the end of the day, we're playing a game, and it's a fun one at that. It's a close one, but it's a fun one at that. So it's going to be interesting to see how we get going here in this third game.
All right, I'm just going to type in the chat really quick, let them know that we're ready when they are.
So it's been a really fun weekend here of some Overwatch weekend. So thank you so much for having me, by the way.
Absolutely, Bronic. It's been our pleasure to show off XP League and show off Overwatch and everything that those things allow us to do. Overwatch was the first game that we added to XP League. It's a game that I've dumped almost 1,000 hours into, and it's a game that really, really forces cooperation and teamwork, and it's really on display here this weekend at XP League's North American Regionals 2022. We're here in Game 3, winner's side of Grand Finals. Hanover Horde up 2-0. Nothing else I'd rather see right now. I mean, it's always just such a pleasure seeing these teams compete at the highest level.
Most definitely, and you can tell that these guys are very passionate about what they do, and the game that they're playing, and especially these last two matchups. It's not like these guys are just bending the knee when things aren't going their way. They're finding ways to come back. They're showing their tenacity, their grit, and I think that's another thing that this league kind of inadvertently teaches the youth is always battle. Like, never just give up. That's not an option. And I don't think I've seen that this entire weekend of a team just giving up. Everybody has a backup plan. Everybody keeps battling, and it's all the more close and entertaining to watch as a spectator.
Absolutely. In fact, if we look at the Twitch chat right now, we've got DJ Fame, the master coach themselves, the coach for the Hanover Horde. I've always maintained that, in my humble opinion, DJ Fame is, the best, if not one of the best, certainly one of the best coaches in all of XP League. Does such an amazing job of cultivating that culture here. It looks like I lost Bryonic here, but we'll get their feedback in just a second. And in fact, we've got Weirdo in the comments here, in the chat here as well. Weirdo, even in the match, still finds a chance, an opportunity for to support the stream. Thank you, Weirdo, for supporting the stream.
I think I'm going to be muted here for a sec, not muted. The camera, because it's saying that it's too high in temperature.
All right.
Man, I guess that's the joy of living in California.
Yeah, no worries. All good, all good. I'll go ahead and kick us over to in-game. We're going to be starting off on King's Row for Game 3 here. And let me swap the graphics here. We've got the Hanover Horde on the... No, we've still got the Hanover Horde on the right. So let me swap it again. There we go. Oh, but the logos didn't swap. Let me try that again. Perfect.
Masterclass of broadcast technology.
When you're a one-man show, you gotta let the little things go.
Exactly. And you're doing a great job. Absolutely.
So here we are. Looks like the Franklin Nomads have chosen to defend first on King's Row. And interesting to see a Mei here. A Mei here. Looks like what they're going to go for is they're going to go for kind of the Mei's ability to create these ice walls, and they're going to try and wall off any players who walk past this this choke point here. To isolate them from the rest of the team, get a quick kill, and then be up for the rest of the team fight.
4, 3, 2.
Let's see if the Widowmaker here can get any kills off spawn.
Defend objective.
But the Franklin Nomads are wise to it and position themselves around the hotel to not give the Widowmaker any opportunities to use that sideline. They're going to try and push through here into the hotel, and the Reinhardt goes down, main tank for the Franklin Nomads as the Hanover Horde push around and towards the back of the point here. Really, really great plays. Hanover Horde looking strong here in this initial engagement. The Franklin Nomads not being too eager, not trying to chase any kills. They know they have to play it safe here as the Hanover Horde goes back in for its re-engagement.
Right now, the Hanover Horde looking a little worse for wear in terms of just kind of battling it out. So, it's going to be fun to see how these guys kind of recap.
But with that, the Widowmaker is able to reposition, and they are able to keep themselves alive long enough to get all that damage pumped into them. I mean, they had so many angles of attack. They were attacking from behind the hotel. They were attacking. The Widowmaker had a different angle. I mean, they had so many different angles of attack that it was only a matter of time until the Franklin Nomads kind of caved in from all that pressure on all sides.
Good job there by the Hanover Horde to keep that pressure up and drive back the Franklin Nomads. And now with the payload, they have a chance to just take it to the house and drive it all the way down.
But some big ultimates are coming online, opening up with the Baptiste window, going to wall that off. Great wall from the Mei there. Looks like they're going to try and play around this corner here, maybe go for a Mei ult, maybe look for an Earth Shatter. So many different opportunities here, but capitalizing on the momentum that the Hanover Horde have here, using both tank ultimates here, and it doesn't seem like they get much out of it, but the payload's still moving.
Yeah, that's the most important thing, is to keep that payload on force. And right now, I think the Hanover Horde are doing a good job at keeping playing support there.
All right, with this, they send the Diva Bomb in, which is going to give them the space to advance and push on the Hanover Horde. But a great play from the Junkrat, from Pizza Freak on Junkrat, is going to punish them for overextending on that aggression and give the Hanover Horde a chance to actually retaliate here.
And they're driving the Franklin Nomads all the way back.
Man, the plays just happen so fast here. You know, one moment your team is up, you have an advantage, you're pushing the advantage, and the next moment instantly get a little too eager, get a little too confident, punish that. Now the advantage is flipped and it instantly switches in momentum.
And coming back, you see the 3 ultimates on both sides. Gonna be fun to see how they use this.
And this Toonbury on Zarya is just doing so much work. I mean, that high energy Zarya is so strong for them right now. I mean, they just ulted in the last fight, and one fight later, it seems like they're already going to have an ult. Just another ult. Zarya's ult being one of the strongest in the entire game.
Get in there.
I mean, just look at the shield on Franklin Nomad's Reinhardt. I mean, it's constantly cracked, almost never at full charge, but look at that, a great Earth Shatter, great Lucio to cancel the Earth Shatter, and these teams are just playing at full throttle.
Excellent play here by the Hanover Horde, just getting back into the thick of things and getting their ultimates and battling back. We'll see how this happens and if they can get this third possible point.
Let me bring attention here to the ultimates on hand for the Hanover Horde. The Graviton Surge and the Dragons, that's the combo they're going to look out for. They unleash the Dragons a little early here, though. Looks like they want to invest it. They want to try to win this regardless of whether or not they have the Graviton ready to go, but I think the Franklin Nomads are going to use that to their advantage. I mean, they have the spawn advantage. They have the man advantage at this point. I think this is going to stall out the Hanover Horde at this spot here as the Hanover Horde pull back and try and get that re-engagement. Or maybe not. They're going to keep this extended engagement going. They see some opportunities. They get some picks here. And as the Junkrat is able to get a couple of kills here onto the Franklin Nomads and extend this push. Wow. Did that just happen? That's incredible. Well, Lantern on Lucio, before May was able to kind of icicle herself and stall the payload, booped the May off of the side. Great plays from both teams. It's like watching an episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! It's like... Oops.
Initiating match.
Yeah, I get what you mean. It's just the back and forth that kind of happened there. And in terms of just like the final battle, Hanover Horde, just everything they could to throw at the Franklin Nomads, man. That's everything in the kitchen sink. They were able to do it, and they were to come up with a win.
Absolutely. So right here,
Ready for battle.
I mean, they just have counters for the counters for the counters, and it's like, what are the, you know, how many layers deep does their plans go? You know, one ultimate comes out, okay, we'll use this ultimate counter. Oh, you used that ultimate, we were actually baiting out that ultimate, and now we're gonna punish you using your Lucio ult and bring in another ultimate. Oh, actually, we were expecting that, so we're also, I mean, it's just incredible mind games and level of play here.
I get what you mean by Yu-Gi-Oh! Episode. You activated my trap card.
Exactly.
5, 4, 3.
So here we go. The Franklin Nomads are going to have a chance to show off their offense. I mean, both these teams so powerful on the offensive as the Franklin Nomads make their approach here. Going super quick, not going to dilly-dally at all. Going to use that symmetric teleporter to bring themselves directly onto the point and not giving the Hanover Horde really much space at all as they kind of push around this corner and into the hotel. The Pizza Freak, I mean, just completely denying entire areas to the Franklin Nomads with that incredible burst damage. I mean, they're really getting to shine in these tight zones right here as they pump so much damage into the shields, into the tanks of the Franklin Nomads.
And for the Hanover Horde, absolutely battling, keeping these guys at bay, and not even letting them anywhere close to the payload.
Lots of abilities coming out here. They're going to use the window to give them enough damage to kind of push through this area here. And the Franklin Nomads find an opening to push onto point as the team fight begins in earnest, and the Junkrat tire comes out. Gets caught out by Yags. Great shot onto the Junkrat tire. But they're not in the clear yet, as they still need to take out the rest of the Hanover Horde here. Franklin Nomads see that fight is lost.
Yeah, I was just about to say, it's going to be a tough battle here. And I think Franklin Horde, or excuse me, the Franklin Nomads just going back and just trying to regroup as hard as they can, or as best as they can, rather.
Oh, perhaps an opportunity for the Franklin Nomads to push in. They get an early pick onto hit scan, and they're going to go in and dump their ultimates onto the point. But unfortunately, they're going to get punished for their over-aggression as Pizza Freak he capitalizes on the great graviton from Toonbri. Toonbri doing so much work for the Hanover Horde on this map. Toonbri's Zarya just absolutely amazing on King's Row right now. Just high energy almost the entire game. Just getting so many grabs so quickly.
I'm ready to start a blizzard.
With about a minute 38 left to go to try to get this objective. We saw it before where they're able to get it at the stroke of midnight, it seems, in the overtime. But right now, I think the Franklin Nomads need to start dominating their positions a little bit more.
Blizzard coming out from May, Lucio coming out from Lantern on Hanover Horde, and it looks like the Franklin Nomads are coming out on top of this fight as they take out the front line, back line, and all that's left is Toonbri on Zarya as they capture the first point here on King's Row. Well played, Hanover Horde.
60 seconds remaining.
And it's interesting play there, and now they're able to get the payload. It's going to be kind of interesting to see how the Hanover Horde regroup here in terms of their establishing their defense on the sightlines.
And here they come into the second streets phase of King's Row. Franklin Nomads pushing up to the corner here. They don't want to have to fight in this choke point, so they're going to push up and try to jockey for positioning here, which may be a little difficult with the Junkrat damage coming through, making it hard for the Reinhardt to have to play around the barrier. And another Graviton Surge comes out with the Dragons, but the Lucio ult to counter the Dragons. Great plays here from both sides here. And oh my god, a flank shatter from the Hanover Horde is going to end that push from the Franklin Nomads.
That was a great push by the Nomads, and pushing back the Horde. It's going to be interesting to see how they kind of regroup here.
But this presents another opportunity here for the Franklin Nomads with a shatter on their Reinhardt. No shatter for the Hanover Horde going into this next fight. It's going to keep your eyes on this Reinhardt. It's going to be up to Kid MDK on Hanover Horde to outplay the Franklin Nomads Reinhardt to prevent that shatter from doing much.
And right now, the Hanover Horde trying their best to battle through this checkpoint. And with the Franklin Nomads, you gotta give them credit, man. They're keeping that payload on the move.
Absolutely. They've got a lot of momentum going into this. Lots of great aggression, great plays from their DPS and their Lucio here. Kind of splitting up the team, staggering the Hanover Horde, giving themselves more time to push that payload into this second objective here. But not to be outdone, let's remember, Pizza Freak has been here tons of times before, constantly saving their team right when they need it. There it is, 3 kills coming out for the Hanover Horde and eliminating the entirety of the Franklin Nomads there, stopping that push in its tracks.
That is a huge elimination there for the Hanover Horde. About 60 seconds left to go, and now it's going to have to be an all-out assault if the Franklin Nomads want to extend this game.
And there we go. The May ultimate comes out. It seems like they were able to catch out Weirdo on Baptiste right there, and hit scan evens it up with a kill on with a catch onto Yeggs on Hanzo. So Hanover Horde doing a good job here of kind of slowing down this push here and extending this engagement. They want to run the clock as much as they possibly can. Here comes the ultimates for the Hanover Horde, getting a nice team wipe there.
Important team wipe too. 19 seconds left to go, and they're forced to retreat and have maybe enough time for one last push.
Is anyone fast enough? Can anyone on the Franklin Nomads get to the payload in time? They're trying here. They're trying their best to get there. Everyone's running at it, but it's just a little bit too far out of reach, and the Hanover Horde will win this third game in the series, winning 3-0. Congratulations to the Hanover Horde for winning this this best of 5 series. A really, really great series of matches here today from Franklin Nomads and the Hanover Horde. GG's to both. Hanover Horde is your champions for the Group A Overwatch Regionals, and we are excited to see them both return and battle again at the North American Finals. Great job to both.
Yeah, it's no love lost between these two teams, and I think the battle there was just absolutely amazing to see. A lot of spirited.
It's going to be fantastic. And here we go. So that concludes Group A. Now we'll be swapping over to the Group B bracket and checking out the matches over there. They've been waiting patiently for us to begin. So we'll go ahead and we'll kick it over to an ad break in just a moment here. But once again, I just want to emphasize again, really, really great job to both of these teams. One of the closest, definitely the closest sets of matches that we've seen so far. I mean, just look at those individual match scores, you know, going 1-2, going 5-6, going 3-1 here. I mean, just absolutely great gameplay on both sides. You know, just a few different plays there, and the Nomads could have easily completed that Streets phase and pushed it all the way.
Yeah, definitely, and it just shows the characteristics of both the Nomads and the Horde just battling as hard as they could, and for the Nomads to come back and to make it as close as it was. You know, that 3-0 score is very deceptive. Yes, it was a sweep, but that was the closest sweep I think I've ever seen in any sport. So the Franklin Nomads have nothing to hang their heads about, and looking forward to seeing them in the Fortress.
Well said. All right, everybody. Stay tuned. We've got more Overwatch action, more grand finals to see as we swap over to the Group B bracket. Keep it right here at twitch.tv/XPLeague. Give us a follow. Share the stream with your friends as we finish up the Overwatch portion of Regionals. Thank you, everybody.
I'm the coach for XP League, and I'm looking forward to having an impact on these kids' lives. I've been playing video games competitively since 9th grade. I'm now 21 years old, and I've never really got to be a part of a team.
Today you guys are here for tryouts. Now you might be feeling nervous, but don't worry. Everybody makes a team. Tryouts is not about kicking you out if you're not good at the game. The only thing this is about measuring where you are at right now, so we can focus on how we can help you improve throughout the season.
Esports promotes cognition in the sense that there's multiple ways to win a game. There's not one set way that you can win a match. The meta in Overwatch varies. It depends on the game. The games change all the time, and every game is different. It has its own special, unique characteristics.
Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Keep your hands straight. Keep your hands straight.
For our practices, we aren't focused necessarily on who we're playing against, just how we can adapt our strategy towards the game. What we teach the kids when we're coaching is that there's another human being on the other side of that computer, and to treat everyone with respect.
I have my ultimate.
Perfect. Keep going. Keep going.
Both teams putting so much into the fight. We are so close.
Game like the pros and experience the largest North American youth esports competition.
They took it, it's so close, and that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Hanover Horde have taken the victory here in the grand finals.
This year, XP League brings the North American Finals to the Full Sail University Orlando Health Fortress and Full Sail Live venue. The best youth gamers from across the US and Canada will battle head-to-head for the championship title this June. Do you have what it takes to be crowned the champion? The largest youth esports competition in North America is this June in Orlando. Journey begins at xpleague.gg.
Both teams putting so much into the fight. We are so close, stuck in overtime.
Game like the pros and experience the largest North American youth esports competition.
They took it, it's so close, and that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Hanover Horde have taken the victory here in the grand finals.
Do you have what it takes to be crowned the champion? The largest youth esports competition in North America is this June in Orlando. Journey begins at xpleague.gg. Do you have what it takes to be crowned the champion? The largest youth esports competition in North America is this June in Orlando. Your journey begins at xpleague.gg.
Yeah, I'm not gonna rip it. It doesn't matter at all.
Esports is a multi-billion-dollar industry. We're taking that and we're delivering it to elementary and middle school kids.
Yo, you guys are getting pretty wrecked by me. Dad, all right, push up with me.
We're bridging the gap between conventional athletics and competitive gaming. We have kids working on the same technology that the pros are training to improve their skills.
When did you lose? Why did you lose? Like the games that you lost, why did you lose?
Through a partnership with the Positive Coaching Alliance, our coaches go through a double goal certification. They learn not only how to work through the strategies of the different games they're playing, but they also work through how to impact these kids' lives in a positive way. They get to mark and highlight behaviors and attributes that will lead to long-term life skills.
You love being Battle Mercy.
Yes, Battle Mercy.
No, it's not. Why don't you tell us your favorite move that Mercy does?
So what brought me to XP League is the experience of my children. I had always hoped and wanted them to be a part of a youth athletics team. So I realized they all love competitive gaming. So why not marry their passion with what I'm hoping for them to learn and achieve and put healthy, solid values in place in something that the kids want to do and are excited about doing.
Yes, Fruit Steve!
Experience points. Every game awards experience points. And what we built here is an experience. Professional level equipment, the top tier partners in esports. They're also getting the experience of sportsmanship values, of working with mentors and coaches, and of being part of the team. It's all about the experience.
I need you. Nice. Go, group in, now, push in. We don't have to good. Good game.
I'm the coach for XP League, and I'm looking forward to having an impact on these kids' lives. I've been playing video games competitively since 9th grade. I'm now 21 years old, and I've never really got to be a part of a team.
Today you guys are here for tryouts. Now you might be feeling nervous, but don't worry. Everybody makes a team. Tryouts is not about kicking you out if you're not good at the game.
All right, and welcome back. I misspoke earlier. We are with the Group A bracket now. Last set of matches, that was Group B. But here we are with elimination brackets finals here for the Macomb Knights versus Madison Marvels. The winner of this will head into grand finals. So let's see some more great gameplay from both of these teams. Macomb Knights, Madison Marvels, both teams that are favorites to take the whole thing. So let's see how they perform here today.
It should be a good matchup. And correct me if I'm wrong, this is a best of 3, right? Or is it a best of 5?
So this one will be a best of 3. The grand finals will be a best of 5.
Okay.
And going into this, let's take a look at the Macomb Knights. They're going to be going for a Reinhardt Diva, Cassidy, May, Lucio, Baptiste comp, and then on the side of the Marvels, they're going to be going for a Pharah Mercy. So we've seen a lot of Pharah Mercy today, and we've seen Pharah Mercy, especially from the Madison Marvels. Waspies on that Pharah is deadly. So let's see how the
Hate to cut you off again here, partner.
Again, I did it again. Amazing.
It's okay. Hey, it's on the same map too.
So here Cassidy coming in, and really, really aggressive play from the Macomb Knights here. Looks like it's going to get them punished though.
This is actually the grand finals, I was told. This is a best of 5, so this is it for Group A.
So this is the this is the Franklin Shogun. This is even the Macomb Knights.
I believe so.
All right, well, let me go ahead and make these adjustments. Bryonix, I'll let you go ahead and take over while I make those changes.
All right, play-by-play brought to you by Bryonic. Actually, a big battle here at Choke Point here in the top corner. You know, that's something I've kind of noticed with this map is they like to go towards the high ground and the top platform right next to the objective. And right now, it seems to be the Macomb Knights forcing back the actually the Franklin Shoguns. Excuse my double speak here. The Franklin Shoguns doing a good job at battling back the Madison Marvels into their own kind of spawn and not really letting up anything. So with about 50 already captured here, it's going to be amazing to see how these guys battle back. And a 5 kill streak here with Demon Ninja 7 here. Rounding over to 60% in the capture already in favor for the Franklin Shogun, and they're showing why they're the favorites here. But on the other hand, you do have 3 ultimates ready for the Madison Marvels to come in through and try to recapture this centerpiece and kind of force this thing into a later stage.
Absolutely. Okay, I'm back. Here we go. We've got everything fixed here. And what a match we have already. Really, really explosive right out the gates. Macomb Knights, with the Franklin Shogun, just so much aggression here, not giving the Madison Marvels any footing in this match.
So 95%, and they're not really giving it an inch here. 3 already contesting though, and now it is the Madison Marvels' turn here, but it's going to be a very tall order to go from 0 to 100 here in this final latter half.
Yeah, absolutely. What we're going to have to look out for here is, of course, the Junkrat tire, but this May Blizzard here. All right, here comes the tire. Can they scout it out? They find it out and are able to eliminate the tire as the Franklin Shogun go onto the point, throw the Blizzard onto the point, let that tick over and freeze the enemy. And can they capitalize on the Blizzard as it comes through? All the while, Waspies on the Pharah just pumping so much damage into the Franklin Shogun and are going to stop them from being able to overtake this objective and really push in.
99 to 39 here and counting for the Madison Marvels, doing a good job keeping the Franklin Shogun at bay.
Absolutely, we're going to want to look out here for us. We're going to want to look out for the nano boost from this Anna. Who is she going to throw it on to? Roadhog throwing out that ultimate, and Waspy's on the Pharah, gets nano boosted, loses it immediately as Cassidy on the side of the Franklin Shogun takes him out. Here comes the Junkrat tire. Watch out. Doesn't quite catch anybody, but it looks like the Madison Marvels are still stabilizing here on point as they manage to keep the Franklin Shogun at bay.
So here in this grand final, it is shaping up to be a close one, as already up to 82% from 0. And now the Madison Marvels trying to get back and hold that checkpoint, or else it's going to be a defeat. And a good defense there by XBL Franklin too.
Fantastic job there.
That was close. And for the Franklin Shogun, it kind of avoided catastrophe there, as they were at 99%, would have given up that entire lead to the Madison Marvels, but credit to the Marvels for sticking in there and getting back into the game. And for the Franklin Shogun, they didn't panic, they came back and they got it done eventually.
Yeah, the Franklin Shogun are doing an amazing job, and the Madison Marvels are putting up a strong fight as well here. With that Pharah Mercy working out really well for them. I think what they just have to do here is try to figure out how to play around the aggression of the Franklin Shogun. I mean, just playing with so much confidence, so aggressive. They're either going to have to match that aggression or find a way to curb it.
Now, a centerpiece try here for the Franklin Shogun. Madison Marvels absolutely duking it out here at the center of the pitch.
It looks like they're going to try and use the Symmetra here to pressure the front line into caving. Symmetra really specializes at burning down shields and kind of melting tanks. You know, some players like to call her the microwave. I mean, she's so powerful here, especially in a situation like this, where you're just burning down shields and ultimates like this. But it's not going to be enough, as the Franklin Shogun are using that aggression and just pushing them out. Just great job here from the Franklin Shogun. I mean, the tanks playing with so much confidence, and they can play with that confidence because they know that the supports have their back.
That's what I was talking about when it comes to, you know, this game versus like Overwatch versus Call of Duty. You have to play to your strengths, and you have to play as a team. They have the support, they have the tanks. One, they know their job, and not one of them can carry the rest of the team.
And amazing play from the Baptiste. Not only are they keeping their team alive, but they're also fragging out, taking out the Mercy, clipping the legs of clipping the wings off the Pharah Mercy.
63%, and it's looking a little familiar here. We're gonna see if the Franklin Shogun can kind of win this a little cleaner than last time. But look at all those ultimates stacked up, and it looks like they're gonna be using them all at once.
Wow, amazing play from Diva here. XBL Franklin 2 for the Franklin Shogun. They know in their minds that the Pharah is looking for the ultimate, and so Diva hangs back, waits for the Pharah to show her face, and immediately eats up all the damage from that Pharah and just denies them all that damage.
Absolute credit to the Franklin Shogun for keeping up with that onslaught. And with on the other side, the Madison Marvels, they tried 4 different ultimates, but ended up coming up empty, and the Franklin Shogun got a clean win this time, 100% to nothing. And now they have a 1-0 series lead.
Yeah, absolutely. The Franklin Shogun really looked comfortable dealing with that Pharah. They knew absolutely what they had to do there. An amazing play here from the tanks. I mean, the tanks on the side of the Franklin Shogun are just absolutely on fire right now.
Epic. Clear skies ahead.
And when it comes to the Shogun, the first game that you played. It's just getting into the nitty-gritty of everything. You're gonna have to kind of like just get back, regain the confidence, and get yourself up to par and back into the series. It's only a 1-0 lead. And here in this best of 5, I keep stressing, if this were a best of 3, you'd have a lot more pressure being down 1. But because this is a best of 5, you can have a chance to go to game 2, breathe a little bit. You have a chance to tie up the series and send it to game 3.
Oh yeah, I mean, these teams are going to have an opportunity to adapt. The Madison Marvels will get to show, what kind of how deep is their pool of strategies? How deep is their pool of heroes? Can they adapt to what the Franklin Shogun is throwing at them? They've got what it takes. The Madison Marvels have been here before. They've been to a grand finals. They know what they have to do. So, do they need to pump more resources into that Fair Mercy? Do they need to maybe engage and get more stun on their team so that they can punish the aggression of the Franklin Shogun? Do they maybe need to go for a dive composition and just go all in and try and get into the backline instead of messing around with the backline? It's going to be interesting to see what they do here, what kind of adaptations they make as we go into the next escort map.
Yeah, and for the Franklin Shogun, again, you have a chance to take a stranglehold of this series, and it's going to be interesting what their kind of motives are. Are they going to try to go to it right away? Are they going to try to keep the Madison Marvels off kilter? Or are they going to play a little bit more defense and kind of work around the Madison Marvels' weaknesses?
Yeah, and the escort map pools that we have to pick from, these are big maps that lend themselves to lots of range damage, and so the Franklin Shogun, that kind of up close combat brawl style that they're going for may not work as well on some of these escort maps, but let's see how it works out for them going into Havana for game 2 of this best of 5 grand final series. Franklin Shogun up 1-0 against the Madison Marvels. Let's see what they go for.
And definitely. So again, Havana. And we've seen this map a few times already.
It seems to be a favorite.
And again, it's a good map to kind of show off your ranged capabilities. So I'd be surprised if the Madison Marvels try to go towards, the Franklin Shogun try to go towards more of a close corner combat type place.
Well, let's take a look at the compositions here already coming out on the Madison Marvels. No Fair Mercy. Waspies instead opting for the McCree and a Junkrat there on Ghost 10. Makes sense to me. This is not exactly a map that lends itself well to Farah. Farah can do some stuff on this first section of the map, but once you get into the warehouse here, she doesn't really have anywhere to fly. So let's take a look here with the Widowmaker coming out for Franklin Shogun here. Can they get an early pick here? Do the Madison Marvels know to look out for it? Let's see how they engage, how they choose to path for this.
And it's going to be kind of a watch where you step kind of thing. And with the Franklin Shogun already showing that they're going to be going towards more of a range capability, they're trying to keep your eyes up and away from that one.
Interesting plan here. The Madison Marvels aren't even going to cart at all. Cart is still at 0 meters. They've decided, you know what? We don't want to have to deal with the Widowmaker shooting at us while we push this payload. Let's try and push around all the way to here and catch them out this way and just have the fight. But seems like they're going to give up that plan and go back to pushing the payload. I think it's a good call.
Yeah, that's a unique strategy to go towards just taking out the Widowmaker, but I think you're absolutely correct in just going back to the payload and getting into the match, because if you don't and if you waste too much time, that's already a victory early for the Franklin Shogun.
Wow, just so much damage up range here. Typically what you would see is the range damage up here on this balcony, and then you would see the tanks and some of the supports down here. But instead, opting, you're not to get up there is almost impossible for the offense. To actually get onto that high ground, they'd have to go all the way through here, up the stairs, go around, and then that would eventually be enough to get them off the high ground. But I mean, this is such a strong position for the Shogun.
You know what's funny? I saw this exact strategy yesterday with the B team for Madison Marvels. They did this, I forget against who, but they kept this long-range type deal on the balcony, and it worked. It really worked, as already eclipsing 2 minutes into this match, and they're barely halfway to the first checkpoint.
I mean, the Franklin Shogun here are yet to lose to get a single death on the board. I mean, the Madison Marvels looking to be struggling to kind of break this fortification. Double shields, turret up there, getting automatic damage on anyone it sees. How are they going to break this open? I mean, they've got the nano boost. What can they do? And eventually, they're going to push the cart far enough that the Shogun are going to have to drop down.
I think right now the Shogun are just trying to delay that as far as they can, but right now it looks like they're just dropping down now in order to keep them away from the cart. And they did a good job here, killing as much time as they did, already down to maybe 60 seconds. Still not impossible for the Madison Marvels to kind of come back into this one, but for the Franklin Shogun, they're showing a lot of defensive prowess here.
I mean, the Shogun, I mean, they decided to stay up there instead of dropping down. They said, you know what, push the cart, we're gonna just dump a bunch of damage into you, and when we eventually do drop down, you guys are all gonna be low health because we've been raining damage on you the entire time.
That's exactly their game plan here, because not only that, you're kind of bucking up your ultimate, so by the time they do get down there, it's gonna be a hairy battle.
And looks like they're going back to kind of some of their earlier strategies. They're going to go for the Farah, going back to the Farah. And I got to say, I actually kind of agree with this decision. It's going to give them the ability to contest the high ground, that balcony up there. And they're going to be able to do more damage at range to that turret and to those shields that are so critical to the Franklin Shogun's game plan.
7 seconds here to go. Kind of a checkpoint. Madison Marvels coming back strong and getting into the payload. Just trying to force this into the first checkpoint, but not exactly getting it too easily thanks to the Franklin Shogun. But now they're able to push it and get the first point and get 2 minutes back on the clock.
Yeah, you know, this is something I was thinking might happen, that once the Madison Marvels pushed around this corner, this balcony is no longer as powerful as it used to be. And now with kind of the strange positioning that they had, they were forced to take, they were forced to play on the payload, they were forced to play at different positions that they may have wanted to, that their comp was not really built around for. So, I mean, great job there, Madison Marvels getting through that tough spot there and cracking that open.
But the one thing I'm keeping my eye on is the actual time left. Instead of 4 minutes to try to get to that second checkpoint, you only have 2, so it's going to be pretty interesting to see how the Franklin Shogun play this defensive trap.
The data pool increases.
Great play here from Sigma for the Franklin Shogun, going in with that gravitic flex and grabbing everybody, slamming them down. Instantly kind of turns the tides for the Franklin Shogun, stems the momentum from the Madison Marvels, and now the Madison Marvels are going to have to come up with a different approach here as they push in from the side alleyway.
And for the Madison Marvels, their cart's kind of being pushed towards the other side, and now nearing a minute left. They're going to really have to try to regroup here.
And you can see here this aggression from the Shogun now. You know, they've made the swaps off of the double shield, and now they're going for just that pure aggression that they had before, and really just getting in the faces of the Madison Marvels and pushing them back as much as they can.
35 seconds left to go, and they're halfway to the second checkpoint. Now this is going to be where the Franklin Shogun are going to need to pull out all the defensive stops if they want to prevent them from getting to that checkpoint. Is now you're looking towards overtime. You're looking towards the contested kind of payload. So keeping them off of that is going to be key if you're Franklin.
With only 10 seconds left, they may not have enough time to get to the point as Farah uses her abilities, tries everything they can to get there, pops their ultimate, gets a kill, so there's a bit of a trade here. It's very scrappy here for the side of the Madison Marvels as they're just trying to get some bodies on the point. It's going to be a tough retake here, especially with all that lava, the molten core on the point there, and the Franklin Shogun are going to take it here, and the Madison Marvels push will end right here, about halfway in the warehouse stage of Havana.
That was a great push by the Franklin Shogun, and I'm not even going to take anything away from the Madison Marvels in that aspect. They did a good job in spreading out the Shogun throughout the payload, and had they had a little bit more time and preparation and a little bit more people, I can guarantee you that they would have gotten that to the second checkpoint, and we would have been talking about possibly them getting 3 points. But instead, it was a good ultimate pull that got the majority of the Madison Marvels low in health, and they just basically cleaned it up, picked them off, and now we're heading to the second round with a 51-meter advantage and 1 point for the Madison Marvels.
51 meters isn't a lot, but it can feel like a lot, especially in this first section here. I mean, that was such a strong defense on this first section of the map from the Franklin Shogun. It gave them such a huge advantage going to warehouse that Madison Marvels didn't have a ton of room to play with by the time they got to that second stage. I mean, they only had 2 fights there. They had 2 fights in that warehouse, and then their time was up. So what kind of defense the Madison Marvels put on this first point is going to be just about everything for them here. This is their main battleground. They don't want to have to fight in that warehouse.
Yeah, and you can see they're doing the exact same strategy as the Franklin Shogun. They were able to kind of set everything up, and like I said, their B team was able to do this, so I think Franklin kind of took a play style out of Madison Marvel's book and taking this balcony, so it's going to be interesting to see how they kind of battle it back, but right now they don't seem to be having a lot of trouble here moving this payload.
Yeah, very interesting. The Franklin Shogun actually playing around this balcony high ground very well, using the May wall to block it off. It looks like they're contemplating going up there and contesting, but they're just going to settle for being down here and pushing the card a little more. Madison Marvels are wise to it, though, and come down and bring the fight to them.
Yeah, that's a good idea and a good strategy here. Kind of splitting up your team, letting one take care of the payload while the other one goes and takes care of the kind of flank here. And now, the balcony is a non-issue. Now that they turn this corner, balcony is not really, a place of contention now that you have a lot more cover. So, they're forcing the Madison Marvels down to their level, and they're still sitting pretty with 2 minutes and 47 left to go.
And here we go, as the Franklin Shogun push it into the first objective. 2.5 minutes on the clock. They're going to get another couple minutes here as they push it in. 5 minutes on the clock to push it, maybe just 20 more meters. I mean, that's fantastic for them. They're going to have the Madison Marvels are going to do something incredible here.
5 minutes to get it to that next checkpoint, and they're they have plenty of time to work with. And if you're the Madison Marvels, this is where you need to make your stand. Every single stop you can pull, you have all the ultimates coming up on the board now, and it looks like you're getting crazy.
3 kills already from the Franklin Shogun. Madison Marvels half a team down. It's looking good for the Franklin Shogun pushing into this warehouse here. As the Reinhardt goes down.
Contested. And now getting onto the payload. Not a lot of contention from the Madison Marvels.
I will say, though, the Madison Marvels do have a good amount of ultimates here to help them if they can find a chance to use them in a way that's going to help them stop the payload. Doesn't look like it's going to work out. The Franklin Shogun will take the second map in the series, going up 2-0 on Havana.
Now, it's safe to say that in this matchup, it was the opening round that really defined everything. It was the defensive stop that you had for the Franklin Shogun that really showed the kind of tenacity this team has. Keeping them to almost halfway to the map, and then on the other side, just dominating their side into the second victory here in the series.
That's correct. We're going to be going to hybrid. I mean, I know I had some doubts about how the Franklin Shogun were going to adapt kind of their close range style on that first match, but I mean, they absolutely showed that they're able to adapt and able to play in different situations and be strong on those different maps. So, looking into hybrid, what kind of adaptations are the Madison Marvels going to make? I mean, the Madison Marvels are a strong team here. They have what it takes. They have the strategies. They have the hero pool there. I think what they need to do is maybe just come up with some different pathing, come up with different ways of dealing with the enemy team there. I think what really kind of threw them off there at the very beginning was, just how were they going to deal with that team on the high ground? Their composition didn't really have the tools to work around it. When we saw the Franklin Shogun beat their own strategy right there at the very end, they used the May wall to kind of block off that side line and basically make that balcony useless to them.
Is the kind of the way that they use that strategy. At first, it was their biggest strength, keeping to the balcony, keeping to the high ground. But then they knew what it would entail to make that high ground into a weakness, and they did it perfectly. They used the balcony. I guess my favorite kind of part of that kind of exchange was when the Madison Marvels were trying to come down and hit the payload from the side. They made, like you said, that May wall of ice to keep them from even coming out. And by the time they broke through that wall and defeated like the two guys that were standing right in front of it, you had two guys from the payload say, oh wow, we need to go over there and help. And they kept them at bay, kept them up on that balcony, turning that from the biggest strength they had into the biggest weakness.
Yeah, absolutely. Just genius 500 IQ plays here as we jump into the third map in the series, Kings Row, one of the favorite map of the entire Overwatch community. I mean, this is definitely a great map to be on, and it really makes for some really fun games. I mean, just the design of the map, it gives you the opportunity to play so many different compositions and so many different styles and really take advantage of your momentum.
30 seconds.
And it's going to be an early defense here for the Franklin Shogun, as they're already setting up in the main objective area, trying to protect the payload. So for the Madison Marvels, it's going to be interesting to see how they kind of take this, if they want to go more close-cornered or if they want to go more ranged.
All right, let's take a look at the Madison Marvels here. Maybe some opening picks from the Widowmaker here on the high ground. Interesting, not actually going for the high ground, not even going to go for the kind of classic peek there, but instead opting to just go over on the side and see if they can get an off angle.
Right now it seems, early on at least, it's paying dividends.
Yeah, absolutely. The off angle there, I mean, getting a pick onto that Ana XPL Phantom, I mean, without that Ana, you don't have enough heals from just a Mercy, especially since that Mercy is going to be focused on healing just the Pharah. Ana, when you dedicate one of your healers to run a Pharah Mercy, that puts so much pressure on the other healer to keep the rest of the team up. And it looks like they really exploited that by taking out that Ana first and then letting the rest of the team kind of collapse from there.
And they got that payload in a hurry, still with 5 minutes and 40 to get to that first checkpoint. And this is the longest stretch to get back to the first checkpoint, but I think with the kind of strategy the Madison Marvels are putting on now, it's not going to be too much of a problem.
And it seems like I didn't notice, but they actually swapped here, so the Madison Marvels are on the left here, are on the blue here, and it's the Franklin Shogun in the red that are pushing through here. So once again, the Franklin Shogun showing just how strong they are here as they push through the streets phase and really push that advantage and try to take advantage of the momentum they have and give that Widowmaker all the space in the world to land those headshots.
So Franklin in the red and Madison in the blue right now. And Madison not really able to kind of combat after they lost that initial payload. And that was a good play by the Franklin Shogun to kind of exploit those weaknesses and get the payload as fast as they did. And they're already past the first checkpoint.
A really, really strong Bionade plus Shatter plus Nano there. Really great play from the Ana and the Reinhardt working together there to stall the advance of the Franklin Shogun and hopefully take some of that energy out from their advance there as the Franklin Shogun regather, recollect as they're going to get another push here. Another opportunity with 3 ults available to them. The Madison Marvels are going to have to play very carefully around these abilities. Oh my god!
What a good kill!
Bomb from the Diva on the Franklin Shogun. Fantastic play there. Really well done on the side of the Shogun.
Hey, came for blood. That was a great kill. And getting into this final half, they're already like knocking on the doorstep right here.
Lucio dropping the beat here, gets the boop environmental kill onto the Roadhog. Great job there. Madison Marvels throws in the Reaper ult, trying to stabilize here, and it looks like it's going to work out as they reclaim the objective and stop the Madison Marvels from pushing in. And man, they really needed to stop that push. 5 minutes on the time bank is a terrifying thing to have to deal with.
Yeah, and I think right now, if you're the Franklin Shogun, you want to push, but that was a good breath, like a sigh of relief almost from the Madison Marvels, getting that one away, and now it's coming into the final half.
But the Franklin Shogun will draw first blood and second blood in this fight, going up 2 in this fight here. What tools do the Madison Marvels have at their disposal? What can they do to slow this down? Investing the nano boost to keep the Zarya alive just a little longer. Can this Ana keep her team alive long enough to get back from spawn? And an amazing hero ult.
What a good heal. That was an important heal. And still knocking on the door, but Madison not letting him through.
Hey there.
Madison Marvels really fighting tooth and nail here for absolutely every inch. You know, it's like Danny DeVito said, life's a game of inches. You got to fight for every inch, man. They're really going for it.
Yeah, every given Sunday. I loved Al Pacino in that one. And now coming into the final push. Again, it's the goal line stand. Who's going to be getting it?
And the Reaper here doing so much work for the Marvels. I mean, they already had an ult just one fight ago, and here comes another one. I mean, not before he gets caught out, but he still takes out 1, looks like 2 from the Madison Marvels, from the Franklin Shogun with that ability. It's enough to stop the fight, so honestly, I think that's a good use of the ultimate.
Right now, if you're the Madison Marvels, even if you let up the payload right now, you're patting yourself on the back. You went from 5 minutes to 2:45. That is amazing. And to keep it from the cusp of defeat, I think the biggest victory right now is just to try to keep this one down and maybe drag this one to closer to 2 minutes rather than a minute and a half, 2 minutes and a half, but they're not going to be able to. Dragging it down from 5 minutes down to 2:28, that is tip of the cap to the Marvels.
Yeah, holding 3 minutes with like 5 meters to go, I mean, that's not easy. They did their best right there, and if they can bring that kind of level of performance there to this section of the map on their turn, I think they'll be in a good spot. They were able to burn 3 minutes, but still 2.5 minutes on the clock for the Franklin Shogun. Super, super aggressive. You know, I thought the Franklin Shogun, once they didn't kind of push it all the way in with 5 minutes, I thought they were going to kind of just play passive, let themselves build up all the ultimates in the world, and then just blow it all at once, get that one big team fight win, and get the complete there. But it looks like they didn't opt for that. Instead, they wanted to win every fight they could and just go in for it.
Yeah, and for the Madison Marvels, now on the other side, gonna have to try to get to this payload as fast as possible. 228 is still a large chunk of time, but thanks to your defensive stand, you don't have to worry about like a 5-minute, whatever. So now, it's all on the shoulders of the Madison Marvel offense and what they can get done.
I think what you're really going to want to pay attention to here is the Zaryas on both teams. The Zarya is an absolute monster on King's Row, and so watching the energy level, watching the ultimate charge level of these Zaryas, it's going to be a battle of who can get these big team fight winning ultimates here to close out these map series. And let's take a look now as the Madison Marvels make their first approach.
Already a checkpoint there as the Madison Marvels kind of pushing them back, and now it's going to be the Franklin Shogun to give a little bit of pushback here.
And right there, the Madison Marvels were actually looking really good in that first push, up until May used her ice wall to isolate the main tank from the Madison Marvels, and off of that isolation they were able to get a pick and then take the rest of the fight at an advantage. So how they play around the May and her ice wall is going to be everything for the Madison Marvels pushing into this, pushing into the Franklin Shogun.
Now they're going to have a full push here, trying to get to the right side of Halo, establish their establish their kind of base of operations, so to say, for lack of a better word.
It looks like they get caught in this corridor, and lots of damage comes through as the Madison Marvels fish in a barrel get stuck in here and aren't able to get push out. And great job from the Franklin Shogun there, stopping the nano boosted Reinhardt as they were coming at them. I mean, once a nano boosted Reinhardt comes out there, you have to respond in kind, and man, they sure did.
Now you have on the cusp of getting 4 ultimates here for the Franklin Shogun. And now, with 2 minutes left to go, it's going to be up to who can strike last here, as the Franklin Shogun, like I said, on the cusp of getting 3 ultimates. The Madison Marvels using an ultimate now have another, so it's going to be a drag race, definitely.
And the call to use the Blizzard comes through. As soon as they see them going into the hotel, they throw in the Blizzard, and they all rush in to capitalize on the slow and the freeze coming in on the entire Madison Marvels there. But a smart call from the Madison Marvels not to drag that fight out, and to immediately, as soon as the first 2 members of their team go down, pull out and pull back for the regroup.
I think this regroup's going to be more important than a lot of these Marvels realize. With just 1:10 left to go, you have 1 or 2 good more pushes left, as the Franklin Shogun not really letting up on their defense. In fact, going out of their spawn, trying to get a team wipe.
Really dominant performance here from the Franklin Shogun. Only 1 more fight left for the Madison Marvels. They have 1, maybe 2. They have 2 ultimates ready to go. They have the Earth Shatter and the Nano Boost. These are 2 game-changing ultimates. A lot of pressure on this Reinhardt's shoulder. He's going to have to find a good shatter so that he can keep his team in the game.
30 seconds left. 30 seconds remaining. And you have 2 ultimates at the ready for the Madison Marvels. 3 now.
Franklin Shogun, wisely, they understand, you know what, this is it. We have to make our stand right here. This is where we end the fight. Use the Graviton Surge, use the Dragons, take them out right here, right now. But now there's a scary spot for them. They have to play really safe here, as the Madison Marvels have a lot of resources to work with.
In this overtime, you're going to see a lot of fireworks, and starting off with that, all the ultimates being used, being pulled out.
And Reaper trying to do his best to cleave through the tanks of the Franklin Shogun, but I mean, just look at this Zarya. So much damage with that high charge. I mean, one of the most scariest things you can face in this game. Amazingly done from the Franklin Shogun as they win this and take it 3-0 over the Madison Marvels. Well done to the Franklin Shogun, our Group B champions here at the North American Regionals for Overwatch. And this match will actually conclude all of our bracket matches here. Let's take a look again at this 4K from the Diva on the Shogun. Just amazing plays all day long from these teams.
It was a dominant effort here from the Franklin Shogun from start to finish. If you want to know what that does for mentality, Madison Marvels, it's just a time to kind of reflect, go over the footage, and just kind of gather yourself, and ultimately getting into the nationals. Obviously, both teams are going to be playing a part, but it's just more of kind of like soul searching, learning from your mistakes, and moving on, because you still have another game to be played. And that's the thing I think the coach is going to tell them, is like, it's not over. We just need to get a little bit better.
Yeah, absolutely. Great stuff from all these teams. I mean, fantastic display of performance. I just want to go ahead and give thanks. This is going to be our final match. I'm going to go ahead and thank everybody who made this possible, from the players to the families, the coaches, the league commissioners, the franchisees. Thank you all so much for all the effort that you put in here. Thank you to Bryonic, Brian right here. Thank you so much, man, for being my co-caster for the day and for yesterday. I look forward to working with you, and big shout out to Bryonic. An amazing sportscaster. We'll be excited to have you back again here next week for Rocket League. So thank you so much, Veronica. You know, go ahead and take some time to shout yourself out here.
Well, I just want to thank you for having me, and thank you guys for kind of putting up with my lack of knowledge for Overwatch. Next week, I promise I'll be better. I'll be better because I actually know what Rocket League is. So, thank you guys for having me, and congratulations to the Franklin Shogun and to all our winners here today, and everybody moving on to the Fortress for the Nationals.
Awesome. Well said. Both these teams will be going ahead to North American Finals, where we're sure to see even more amazing competition. Franklin Shogun, they were second place last year at North American Finals, one of the only teams to take a full set off of the Hanover Horde. So that's going to be a really exciting matchup. The rematch of the Franklin Shogun against the Hanover Horde. We'll be looking forward to that. Thank you, everybody, so much for making this amazing event happen. And we'll be back on Friday for the final day of Fortnite Regionals. So thank you so much. Drop a follow, share the VOD and the event with your family. And we'll be back with more and more regionals next week. Thank you, guys.
I'm the coach for XP League, and I'm looking forward to having an impact on these kids' lives. I've been playing video games competitively since 9th grade. I'm now 21 years old, and I've never really got to be a part of a team.
Today you guys are here for tryouts. Now you might be feeling nervous, but don't worry. Everybody makes a team. Tryouts is not about kicking you out if you're not good at the game. The only thing this is about measuring where you are at right now, so we can focus on how we can help you improve throughout the season.
Esports promotes cognition in the sense that there's multiple ways to win a game. There's not one set way that you can win a match. The meta in Overwatch, it varies. It depends on the game. The games change all the time, and every game is different. It has its own special, unique characteristics.
Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Keep your hands straight.
For our practices, we aren't focused necessarily on who we're playing against, just how we can adapt our strategy towards the game. What we teach the kids when we're coaching is that there's another human being on the other side of that computer, and to treat everyone with respect.
I have my ultimate.
Perfect. Keep going.
Both teams putting so much into the fight. We are so close.
Game like the pros and experience the largest North American youth esports competition.
They take it, they're so close, and that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Hanover Horde have taken the victory in the grand finals.
This year, XP League brings the North American Finals to the Full Sail University Orlando Health Fortress and Full Sail Live venue. The best youth gamers from across the US and Canada will battle head-to-head for the championship title this June. Do you have what it takes to be crowned the champion? The largest youth esports competition in North America is this June in Orlando. Journey begins at xpleague.gg.
Both teams putting so much into the fight. We are so close, stuck in overtime.
Game like the pros and experience the largest North American youth esports competition.
They take it, they're so close, and that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Hanover Horde have taken the victory in the grand finals.
Do you have what it takes to be crowned the champion? The largest youth esports competition in North America is this June in Orlando. Your journey begins at xpleague.gg. Do you have what it takes to be crowned the champion? The largest youth esports competition in North America is this June in Orlando. Your journey begins at xpleague.gg.